Cab Merlot is my thing.
I got some Pinot.
1 spoon. A small spoon.
And Scotty just had a big drink of water. A big drink of water.
You could just go and reach around each other. That didn't come out right.
No, but that's not the fun.
Well, you're doing it wrong then, Steph.
I got this.
God.
Will, did you end up on my picture at the end?
I definitely did.
Okay. This was you.
Okay,
This
cheers,
was you.
makes sense.
Peter, stop.
Chewing gum.
There you
Love
go.
it.
And then it's 100% Steph. There you go. Hey, I'm Nick and welcome to Back Pocket for Thursday the 8th of July, live from my studio that I am in. Tonight on the show, the gag that I wrote doesn't work because I'm in the studio. So I'll say it now and then you'll understand it later.
Mate, come on.
It's purple. I'm a streamer now. It's purple. So you'll understand. You'll understand.
You got
in
a
second.
purple light.
I got a
That's
purple
what
light.
this is all about.
Yay.
Speaking of purple, I am also joined by
Gus, who's uncomfortable by where the end of that intro landed and then seeing Pockety with a spoon and stuff all over his mouth. I don't know, maybe I'm just drawing too many tangents together, but it made me uncomfortable, but it was adorable. Next to me...
This is coming from the person who unzipped Pockety and gave him a fleshy interior.
Yep.
That's the problem. I'm here and I'm good and I'm wearing my favorite jumper, so I'm happy.
And I'm here tonight representing PlayStation again. I will wear my Xbox clothes next week. I had to.
I joked that I'm wearing the same thing last time, but I tend to wear this jacket a lot anyway, so it's just kind of like, I probably am wearing it IRL, so who knows.
And also, Will is now just making a note to himself to Photoshop a green green Microsoft jersey onto.
It'll be done. It'll be done.
Yeah, there he is. Will on the ones and
Glasses
twos.
and all.
Goodness.
Yeah.
When did you get?
Don't ask me to take them off. I can't.
When
I
did
can't
you
do
get
it. I can't take off the
glasses?
glasses.
You can't.
No.
Will got pale. Did I get tanned?
No, I can take them off. I can.
Yeah. You got orange. You went to Donald Trump's #1 guy. Yeah.
That's been a 10 going on.
It always looks so uncomfortable. Speaking of, let's actually get comfortable because it's horrible keeping my head in this position. Pete, give me my action. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
That segment backed by popular demand, clearly.
You do look tan, Gus, but I think it's just because your light is very yellow. I can make mine more yellow, I think. Now I have a tan too.
Oh, let's see what I can do.
I can get Tander then.
Tander. No, Tinder.
Tinder,
that's
Tinder.
what
Sorry,
it
there we
is.
go. If you thought
That's very Snyder. And
if you thought us putting our head
Snyder.
through holes was annoying, let us sit here and play with colours.
I mean, Pete is basically in 4-3 and black and white. And everyone said I needed a purple light. And so I said that I would get purple lights, and I did get purple lights. And then, look, I could even do that. Oh, wow, there's even more.
Oh,
God,
shit.
Look at
you
all
wanna
the
know-
lights.
Looking
Can I
good.
tell you what I actually did?
Please tell me.
Which was I bought 2 Falcon Eyes. But the thing that's doing the real heavy lifting and turning this room purple is I bought a $4 gel that I have put in my light in the room and just like took the casing off and lined it in there and then put it back on. It's like instant mood lighting.
That's very
So
clever.
when isn't that the guest room for like your like mother-in-law or something who comes in and turns it on?
When she
It's like,
when she comes here, I'm going to turn it red.
He's gonna be like, oh no,
oh yeah.
Oh,
what's been
God.
happening in here? I just want to, of course, give Will a little bit of a shout out. You guys can't see this, but he's
I went the extra
nice.
effort. Yeah.
That's
he's Thanos.
beautiful.
Not
He's cosplaying Thanos right now.
I can't get that.
Gus, don't you have sex lights?
Don't you have sex lights, Gus?
I have sex.
Save it for the post show.
He does. Okay.
No. Like, you should tell these stories at the post show because they are great stories about like the 6 moves that Gus has when he brings a lucky lady home.
Yeah.
You
And they're
6 1.
straight out of like a 90s romantic comedy as well. It's just so on brand for him.
I mean, I'll tell the full story in the post show, but the joy of that story or how it works is that I've set up the really cliched. Like,
Don't spoil
almost
your own
sleazy
story,
thing.
Gus.
But
Don't
it's
spoil
how
your
I-
own story.
But it's how I
don't
do
tell
it.
your own story.
Don't
I'm
do it.
teasing my story. I'm saying like it's how I flip that on its head, which is the reason you'll stick around to the post show and be like, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I upped my tier to get to this detail that he held it from me in the intro.
And I will say that step number 5 in his 6 steps is flip her on her head. So that is actually.
And step number 6 was what? Was weight or something in that sex list that we read?
Yeah. It was something along those lines. We are excited to be back with you. Of course, Sydney still being in lockdown means that we're not in the studio, but that's fine. I mean, certainly I got I didn't just get it. We all got a very nice message from Steph today saying that she missed the office hangs and was excited to see us, and I felt exactly the same way. It is nice doing it from home. There are some pros, but certainly it is shit not being able to go in and see you guys. So it is... I am thankful that we are able to do it regardless. But I will tell you, I nearly didn't make it because I spent the entire day ripping apart my entire office, every single cable, light bulbs, installing so many gels.
And you're going to tell me it's not worth it? Look at that shit.
It looks nice. It looks nice. And I like that. Have you changed the layout?
No, not at all.
That bookshelf wasn't there before, was it?
Yeah, it was just there. Yeah, it was there. It was there. Oftentimes when you see it, I think it might be slightly cropped out. Yeah, it's always been there.
Okay. Yeah.
But basically I got 2 arms. I'm getting another. So I got my normal setup. I mounted a monitor above here. Now I've got a mounted monitor, so I'm watching us now. I've got a 4K monitor coming.
That second monitor works as a good light as well. So you change the color on that monitor, you get a nice little. Forget ring lights. Just put an 80-inch TV above you.
Totally. I've got a 4K monitor over here as well. Sorry, Steph.
No, I was just going to say I would love a third monitor, but I've always just been like, I don't have the desk space. I never thought about mounting one. That's amazing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah, so it's still taking up basically 2 monitors worth of space, but there's one above. I got a 4K one over here, HDR, beautiful for my console stuff, and I managed to rework all my wires so that I took my computer off my desk and it was all clear. Now, no one cares about this because no one can actually see it, but I'm telling you, I'm in the healthiest mental workspace I could possibly be right now.
So I know exactly what you mean because I had this a while ago where I put everything on arms, everything's mounted, but now that I'm currently using my nice camera for this show, I currently have it precariously balancing on one of those gorilla tripods that's awkwardly clinging to what do you think I'm using to mount up my camera? Anyone can have a guess. It's a very Gus thing. So like not wine.
One of the top 100 books you must read before you die that you haven't read.
Close, but no. Peter?
A pigeon inside a towel.
Yeah.
No, Nick, you want to sorry, Will, you want to have a stab?
A failed Premiere Pro export.
Oh, very.
That was abstract. That was abstract.
Yeah,
I liked
yeah.
it.
It is an empty vintage leather suitcase for holding vinyl records.
Oh my God.
As a box. That is the perfect height. So that's awkwardly balancing back there with it on. And right now, Nick, I have the opposite of you. I have the anxiety of my desk is balancing.
Yeah.
Like everything's just a little like
it's
I just want to point out the best comment that I read during that whole thing, and I'm going to read it as sardonically as out loud as sardonically as I read it myself, and I don't think it was actually meant this way, but
good.
Harlow 9956 said, "Wow, 2 arms? I have 2 arms."
Yeah, good.
Nick, you need to
left the stream. Like I'm out.
You need to do one of those YouTuber setup tour videos where you show everyone how awesome it is. You'd be like, "Hey, what's up, guys? This is a quick tour of my setup right now. I've got, as you can see, this 4K monitor on the right here.
How about I do it now?
Yeah, great. Awesome.
Good. Yeah, do that.
Here we go. Hey, it's me. This is that video that I said.
No, you have to say, "What's up, guys?"
What's up, guys? It's me. Here's that video I said I would do. That's where the monitor's going to go, the 4K one. There's a cup. There's one screen, light.
Oh, just hold your... Yeah, we can see everything.
Yeah,
the widest...
We can see it all.
Oh, yeah,
it's
you
like
can
a
see
mirror.
everything.
It's like a mirror.
Further back.
Look at the...
Tilt.
Yeah, look. Tilt, spin.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
I like that.
Mess. Look at all that
Very
mess.
cool.
Show us the purple light.
Look at the light.
No, the gel in
the
the
purple
air.
light and the roof.
Oh, yeah.
This is the content we're here for.
Did I nail it?
Perfect. That was great.
Good. Oh, shit, I'm still recording.
Gus will drink to that.
I just like being able to tell, like I've never been able to give Nick a command that he's done so actively, like pointed that way, he's like leaping around his room.
Gus, did you bust out your company wine glasses?
Ooh.
These are my
and I say
crystal.
company, As in, like,
that's
not company, but like when you have guests.
When you
No.
for step
I bought
5.
these on the company card.
This was I spent
sometimes I like to go
$15
for
at
a
McDonald's
heavy-
drive-through, and they gave me a McDonald's Coca-Cola wine
Did you
glass.
see the Big Mac cup?
I did, Steph. Thanks for noticing. I appreciate it.
It's very
Very
nice.
nice. Miss
Fancy.
Jenkins gifted a bunch of subs. Thank you so much, Miss
awesome.
Jenkins.
My God.
And I
Thanks,
see
Miss Jenkins.
I see Emily Furby in the chat, who joined us last night, became a follower. I don't know if
Yay.
Emily Furby knew about us before last night, but welcome. This is the main show.
Oh, I've seen
Remote.
Emily Furby in my chat before.
Ah,
So now you are expanding your universe to the full range of X Good Game people. Now doing that.
yeah.
How exciting.
From their
Silver.
homes.
Miss Silver in the chat said, "Sex lights and company glasses. Is Gus on a date right now?"
Imagine that. Can you just like give me one moment? I'm just going to duck into the other room for
She's at the
approximately
dining
2.5
table.
hours and bare my soul to strangers on the internet. Be right back.
All right. Should we
That
get the
is so
show on the road?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
will in a
let's do
second.
it. May as well.
Let's. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Let's start talking about video games with a little segment we like to call our gaming week.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm just saying, what you all been playing? Brought to you by Grimtones, aka LokiCat, who I was streaming a couple of days ago, and I ate a donut so fucking delicious that I had to get drunk very quickly, and I just shotgunned half a bottle of whiskey on camera.
I saw a Twitch clip, and I was watching it muted in bed, and was like, I said out loud to Steph, I was like, I think Nick fucked his curtains in this latest stream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you did say that. And then I leant over and I was like, sounds about right.
Yeah, that's so.
Sorry,
that's so funny because you guys like. I love how we kind of just tune into each other's stream for a little bit and then ditch out. So you're like, I think Nick fuck curtains, and you're like, yeah, that sounds about right. And then last night I'm watching the Sea of Thieves thing. You guys start drawing something, and at the moment it was just purple, and I just turned to my partner. I'm like, I bet you 1 month worth of hanging out the washing that they end up drawing a dick. And then I wake up this morning and Steph posts a picture of a dick that you drew in the chat. And I'm like, I know these people too well.
And then I then loved that dick so much that I made it my profile picture.
Well,
in
that's our
Discord.
intro next
I
week.
can vouch for that.
Good.
Well,
Then I had to change it.
I'll take the notes.
Then I had to change it because I played games with my like 12-year-old niece today, and I just introduced them to Discord, and then I've like logged in. And I'm like, 1 second.
I thought it was a prawn. I thought it was in the like. It
is
looked
a
like a
prawn.
little red prawn.
It's a
Yeah,
prawn
well,
thing.
after a shower, it's a prawn. Good. Well, we've all learned something about each other this week, and we learned about LokiCat.
Did you actually drink half a bottle of it?
No,
the
no,
actual-
No.
So
Good.
No, dangerous.
I chugged quite heavily on stream, and everyone was appalled because, particularly LokiCat, because he was like, "That is such a waste of whiskey." And I said, "Look, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I actually had my lips closed the entire time, and I was just pretending because acting." But
Should have done that with the wine that I drank the half bottle of vinegar in the office the other stream. But, yep.
Yeah, that's
Hey, that was good vinegar. Don't you talk shit about that vinegar.
It was bad wine, but it was good vinegar. But then he sent me a link to some very nice whiskey aged in a Shiraz cab.
Nick, I'm so sorry,
cask.
but with this lighting, I
Camellos?
swear when I was when I was walking around the streets of Amsterdam, I saw you in a particular district. I was like, I want that
in a
one.
window.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it on. That people,
I love
people
it.
demanded.
Yeah, it's sexy as.
I want that one. My God, that's who you married. Okay, what are we talking about? Video games.
That's the one.
Let's start it off with our gaming week. Peter, what have you been playing? Tell the people.
I have been playing, and we may as well start off with what we were just talking about. Sea of Thieves for the Game Club. The Pirates Life content has been out for a couple of weeks.
Look at that prawn.
And on our very first Pirates Life stream, the servers were down for the first half hour.
We did know about beforehand, but we just decided to roll the dice and be like 30 minutes tops.
They went down at 7, and we were like, if we start at 7:30, they'll be back up by the time the intro's done. They were done by the time prawn dicks were done.
That's on their official blog post as well.
Yeah. So Steph and I took turns. We had 2-minute. It was a speed drawing. We had 2-minute sessions each with the art, and created something like this.
Yeah, look out, Gus.
It's a beautiful drawing, considering you're doing it in paint. But there was a lot of what looked like pubic hair coming out. The way
That's because Peter made a rule that anything that one of us drew, the other person couldn't erase. So at one point, I drew the top half of Scotty, and then he just drew these two like geometric pant legs. So I was trying to make it more furry.
Good. Can always appreciate it.
But anyway, we got through the art. The wonderful piece of art, if you want to check it out, is in the creative channel in Discord with some great memes that were created last night as well. Dolphin Pants in particular turned "Don't Gonna Just Do" into a Nike slogan, which I love.
That's good.
And then we got into the content. And the Pirates Life content, we did the first mission, which is basically the setup of the story. And I haven't played Sea of Thieves in a long time, so it was cool to get back into it just to like feel out the game. But it's nice to have some actual missions.
Yeah.
And you had a very good guide as well.
I had an excellent guide in Stephanie.
Captain Sparrow. Sorry.
Captain
Yeah.
Stephanie.
And then we decided that at the end of the stream, because we started late, it wasn't worth starting the second Tall Tale because it would have gone too late. So I suggested we do this really fun vault quest that you go to like a treasure room, and Peter was just like very uncooperative when it comes to like the enthusiasm for the journey.
So this is funny because I'm really looking forward to this, but I was thinking the other day, Steph, when you ran me through a Tall Tale once, it's how I got my parrot pants, I think.
That's
I got,
right,
like,
yeah.
a parrot outfit, and it was delightful, and you were the best guide I could have had. But there was definitely a point where I remember you were like, I know how to do this bit, but I don't want to tell you, but I want to see you enjoy it as much as I did when I did. And I was like, how do the fucking fountains sing the right order? And you're like, you'll get it. You'll enjoy it like I did. I was like, how the fuck does the fountain work? Eventually you showed me. It was great. But it was like, you were waiting not for me to have the aha moment, but to have the like, moment. And by the end of the puzzle, I was like, I don't have that moment. So I feel like the pressure is on to enjoy it the way you did.
Well, I took Peter to, which I just thought was the coolest thing ever, and I was just like expecting a way bigger reaction from him, is there is a quest now that you can do where you have to go and get different pieces of one treasure map. And when you finally get the last piece, it gives you the X marks the spot where you can go and dig up a special key. And then you take that key to a tomb, and the tomb opens, and it's a massive like a laden treasure room, and you have 3 minutes to get as much stuff as you can out of it. So it's like
winning a prize to get as many toys at Toys R Us when you're 10.
Yeah. And the door is like slowly closing, and you're just trying to grab stuff, and it's like so cool. It's like you're getting all this treasure, and then Peter made us leave 90% of it there because he wanted to go to bed.
What a prick.
I didn't make you leave 90% of it there. We got it all we got heaps out of the vault. I got like the extra special chest.
We only put like 3 chests on the boat.
Yeah, but it wasn't worth
That's
it.
all we needed.
This was us arriving at the island. I tricked Steph by distracting her and just drove straight off. I was like, I'm just going to scuttle the ship so I can
I
go
don't
to
know what
bed.
I'm more thrown by is the fact that, Steph, you were surprised that Pete didn't enjoy it the way you wanted, or Steph, that you like were surprised that Peter did this to your ship. Like, you're married, guys. You should know this is how the two of you function.
But yes,
I'm very trusting.
It was definitely a reminder that there's like a lot of fun to be had in just like floating around the ocean, going to different islands, doing little things. And like, I forgot that even like the quests were basically like, you pull up a piece of paper and it's like, here's a hint at what the island is. Here's like a hint at what you'll find. And you kind of have to do a bit of deduction based on like riddles. And I love all that stuff. But back to the Pirates Life content. The first mission is quite slow. I didn't love it. So I'm looking forward to getting into, I think now that it's kind of like set up, here's a character, here's kind of like the ideas around this. There were some puzzle element things that were very simple, but were fun to do in practice. So it's like, it's just that there's so much platforming and this game is not a platforming game.
Yeah.
So that stuff is like I struggled with a bit to enjoy, but it's still like a fun, cool new location.
I am up to, I've just finished the 4th Tall Tale in my playthroughs, which I won't obviously spoil at all, but they do get much better as they go. So I feel like the first one is really just to introduce you to Captain Jack Sparrow as the character.
So the Tall Tales, I thought the Tall Tales were different from these, or these are a series of, is that what you call a mission in Sea of Thieves?
A story mission is a Tall Tale. So these are a series of Tall Tales. Themed Tall Tales. Yes, there's 5 in total.
What was the previous story Tall Tale pack called? That was the one that you ran me through at one point, that is still there that you can do, that's like a bunch of the Tall Tales that aren't...
I don't know that they're a pack. The previous Tall Tales were all just set within the lore of the Sea of Thieves universe.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get heaps better, I think. And
cool.
The first one is very much a bit of an intro to, it's sort of setting everything else up. So there's lots more to look forward to, I think.
I would say that, like, because the game is really fun to play when you're making up your own mind about what you want to do. And I think the story stuff they implemented is great. All the voice acting is fucking cool. The writing's great. There's great humor in it. But with this story mission in particular, the story stuff was great and the gameplay suffered because it's like, these things are fun to do in bursts and you're making me like have a ship battle that goes on forever because it's Davy Jones, you can't sink your ship kind of thing. So it's like, it got boring just because of the timing of it. But everyone in chat as well is saying they get better and better and better. So
yeah, cool.
I'm stoked to we should tomorrow, Steph, maybe tomorrow evening, jump in and do the next couple.
Yeah, that would be great. I feel like the combat in general in Sea of Thieves has never been a strength. Like they've kept it super, super simple. And when they started introducing the story missions with the like Sea of Thieves lore stuff, sometimes they'd put like a boss battle at the end that is probably some of the most tedious experiences I've ever had in a game. It's just so bad. Yeah, right. At one point I remember stopping and thinking, because there's one where you kill the gold hoarder and he's like a big skeleton boss and it's like in a big, chamber. And I remember like looking up, like, is it common for this quest to be bugged? Because we were just fighting him for like 45 minutes and there's not a lot of combat mechanics. It's just like slash shoot, find a explodey thing if you can. And everyone's like, you're going to think this quest is bugged, but it's not. You just have to keep going.
Gus,
so I hope they make improvements to it.
Have you? You haven't started this yet, have you, Gus?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Me either.
Have you, Nick?
Getting into it. No. I was gonna jump into it next week. I'm so it's just sitting there. It's installed. It's ready. And I would have jumped on it straight away. And then we went, oh, we're gonna make it the thing. And then suddenly it became work. And I was like, I'm not gonna play it. so now I'm like, no, I have to do it.
Just let me know when you're going to play. I'll join you. I'll do it.
No, I will. I do really want that because I am going to be so hella lost when it comes to
this. And you have to have the exact reaction that's as filled with joy as you're expecting.
I'm so glad you brought that up because when you brought that up the first time, you were like, Steph wanted you to have, you were like, Steph, you just wanted me to have the reaction you had. And then I just flashed back to like 4 or 5 weeks ago where we were having a conversation. I can't remember what it was, Gus, and I think it was on the show, but you were talking about how when you have kids, you want to basically take your children through the same video game experience that you had, which was like starting with Mario, working your way up through the decades until they get to play modern games when they're like 45. And so
everyone they don't get like right reaction.
You need to have the experience I had.
Yeah.
Totally.
But it is like, it is, I can do it 100 times if I'm doing it with new people, because it is like showing someone a movie that you've seen 100 times, but when you're watching it with someone else, it's like, it's a more fun experience. And that's how I feel about this.
I loved it too. I think the crux of that story was that it was in a puzzle that I couldn't solve. So it was the combination of being like, tell me how to get through the door. And you're like, no.
No. So obviously Game Club game, we'll be playing it all month. I don't think it'll take us all month to get through the content, so we'll...
Do we know how many of the Tall Tales there are in it? You've done one, there's 5.
There's 5 of the Sea of Thieves ones, yeah. Sorry, of the Pirates Life ones.
Pirates Life.
And do they take like approximately like hour or 2? Depending?
The first one took an hour and a bit. But that was
the first one was short. I would say the second one is longer. The third one is a little bit shorter. And then 4 was long again. So I reckon 5 will be the longest.
Okay. But they could be done as like one a night or like as a nice way to sort of start and stop instead of being pulled through doing a heap of them kind of thing.
I think that all of those tall tale things are designed to be like hey, come on, this is like the thing you're doing tonight. you'll finish
Yeah.
that, and then you can move on. Like you only do one at a time. But
It's also just nice to then also refamiliarize yourself with the rest of Sea of Thieves for like the remainder of your stream time, I think. Like a fun treasure tomb that someone might show you and then you'll just abandon ungratefully.
I jumped on to prep myself like Nick did, installed it, and I just went on one little solo mission and forgot just how beautiful the game is and how actually calming it is. I took a little single sloop and went and did one pickup and came back. But I also I bought a cosmetic. I bought a cat and I bought Lando, so I now have the cats, which are the pets, and they're so well integrated. I saw you guys had like a little pup running around that like when you sail your ship, they like sit up on the bow, or like you're on your ship going, "Where's my pet?" And you go down, and it's like curled up under the map table. I'm like, there's some rare touches in there that are just like, so good. So I'm all kitted up and ready to go.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. It's good stuff.
What else have you been playing, Petey?
The other thing that I've been checking out is a little game called Out of Line, which is it's just come out on Switch. It's been out for maybe 2 weeks on PC. I was playing it on Switch. And it's a little puzzle platformer that is spear-based.
One of those.
Is this a Braid-like?
I guess it's kind of Braid-like. Like the animation frames are like
but you're
similar.
not. I just saw other characters that look like you. You're not doing. It's not time-based. Where
there might be some sequences where you do
Right,
they introduce different puzzle mechanics, and perhaps that's one of them. I actually only played the demo, which is like a half-hour, 40-minute demo.
Cool.
And
I'm with Nick. There's ones in the foreground and the background. They're like they look like other instances of them.
I think this is the start of the game as well, and the demo threw me in about 20 minutes. So I cannot explain that, but I can tell you that the time that I played, I was only ever controlling myself. I think you're probably like a clone, which is why you kind of like wave to the other characters. You don't actually control them. But the point is you have this lance, spear, javelin, basically, and it's got like electricity, but it also is just like, you can't jump up. It's hard. You can't jump up anything without using it. You need to throw it into the wall. It sticks into the wall, and then you get extra bounce height off the springy end of the javelin. And you kind of like, you hold, there's not that many mechanics. You just hold to draw your trajectory arc, and then you release the spear and throw it. And you might find... You've got one that you can recall at any time, and then you might find other environmental spears that you can throw in to do more complex puzzles that require you to hit multiple different objects. But it's actually like I was enjoying how challenging it was. It was immediately like, this is complicated timing-wise to execute properly, and if you can't get it, you're stuck. You're just like, you can't go. So it was fun to have a game that wasn't like just, this is very obvious what I need to do and I can do it first go. Something like a Little Nightmares, where it all feels really obvious the whole time and it's more just the mood that it's setting. Whereas this is like, I know exactly what I need to do and I need to be really precise and do it quickly or I won't succeed. I enjoyed the demo. It basically asks you to use your spear in interesting ways constantly.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, and again, it's just aiming that trajectory and flinging it out. You block gears with your javelin as well. And then there were some environmental creatures running around in the area that I played, which was this area, that you needed to help them pass different objects, and then they would help you pass different objects. And so there's like, even just in that like half-hour demo, 40-minute demo, there's some interesting gameplay like variants. So I think I'm going to check the whole thing out. I think it's only $9 on, maybe it's a little more on the Switch store. So yeah, it's very cool.
Cute. Out of Line, right?
Out of Line, yeah.
Yeah, it's $17 on Steam.
Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, here's another thing. It's like it's a Switch. So you kind of plug your electric spear into it, and then you can manipulate the height of different machines around you and stuff. And then you can, again, recall it at any time. So the way to get up here is to jump on that platform, recall your spear, and that will raise back up. We've lost Nick to Elgato, no signal. hell.
That was weird.
He's back.
That's one of those cables you fucked with.
Oh, this person's going to get themselves killed here, I think. Oh, no, maybe not.
I just
just like
appreciate how
it's always like, oh, there's a fun little way to use the spear. It felt like just one thing, and then shit.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, I'm so playing this. This looks great.
Nice.
I love how Pete can't settle on. You throw the javelin, and then when you recall your spear,
Well,
and then you throw your needle, and it's like
They never called it anything in particular in the game, but yeah, it's very like the controls are like there's only jump, move, and aim your spear and release, or javelin. So it's like
step 6 of the
all of the challenge of the game is like timing everything right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That is Out of Line on PC and Switch. I'm a fan. Steph, speaking of spears, you've been putting holes in things.
Yes, so I've been playing a game called Donut County, and it is, I would say, quite similar to a game that you talked about a few weeks back where you play like a rain cloud and you go around raining on people. It has a similar...
On your parade or my parade?
Rain on your yeah. Similar kind of vibe, only with a kind of... I don't quite remember the story of that one, but the story of this is that you... it centers around a girl who works for a raccoon who runs a donut shop. And
I did not expect that to be the word that you said after works for a.
Yep. And the raccoon is very tricksy. And the way the raccoon runs his donut business is people order donuts via an app, and then he sends a little drone out to deliver the donuts to them. But one day something happens where instead of sending a donut out, it sends out a giant hole, or a tiny hole, rather. Tiny hole the game, and things start falling down into the hole, into like I would say about 1 kilometer underground, into like a underground realm. And once the girl cottons onto the fact that the raccoon has been doing this, she orders donuts to be delivered to his work, and so the donut shop gets swallowed, and they all fall down into the hole together. And she then forces him to solve the problem that he's created with all of these holes that are sucking things down into the underground. It's a bizarre premise for what is something like, obviously somebody has been tinkering with game design ideas and came up with this hole mechanic and was like, how do I base a game around this? And so you kind of basically go through different areas. Every time you something falls into your hole, the hole gets bigger. And there are sort of different
physics,
mechanics.
Steph, I don't know why you think that's so funny. That's just how
yeah. There are different mechanics in different areas, sometimes like involving water or different things. And it's a very simple game. It is very quirky in its storytelling, but it is also like the whole mechanic is very satisfying. I don't know what it is. It's one of those things, as I imagine it is raining on people with a cloud, just going through the process of slowly just, it's not a suction thing. You're literally just creating space below things that you can only do once the hole is big enough for that object to fall through. And sometimes it involves a bit of like finagling where like, okay, it's not big enough for that tent to fall through. But there might be a stack of objects that you need to like disrupt. And then once they're all scattered, they can all fit into the hole and stuff like that. And there you can see one of the water mechanics using with the Ferris wheel and stuff like that. So it gets kind of increasingly more complex than just things go in hole. But
yeah, it's such a cool game. I've played this with Banjo, and
oh, nice.
It's just like because it's such a basic, particularly at the beginning, it's just so basic that kids can pick it up. But I think the satisfying thing about it is it feels good watching things fall down the hole because they kind of like fall down. But it's also that thing of they do a really good job of everything is sized just the right amount so that when it goes, it feels really satisfying when something just like slips perfectly in the hole, but it also feels satisfying when it kind of like bends and tilts and gets kind of wedged. Yeah. And then you shake a little bit and then it falls in. And so I think it's the sense of weight is really, really good.
Yeah, it's satisfying in the way those like kind of TikTok videos that just show you
is
like
satisfying or
like perfect edges or clean cuts of things. It's satisfying in that way. Like it taps into that part of your brain that goes, yes, everything in the hole.
I remember I played this all through on mobile, actually, funnily enough, which it plays really well on phone.
Yeah, it does.
And I got like mad Katamari vibes with the whole same. Like the reverse in terms of, you can only pick bigger things up once you get bigger and bigger. And so, it has that nice little element. And again, like the similar graphic style as well, that kind of like really pastely cell shaded look. But there's something really satisfying as a puzzle mechanic, I guess, about like growing and consuming by, taking more and more things on your ball or in your hole. That's my measure.
Totally. And I totally imagine, like, I can't imagine somebody thought of this independently. I really do think they were probably just messing around with ideas in software and then was like, oh man, feels really satisfying when things fall into that hole. How can I make a game around this? Yeah, it's really fun. It's free on Game Pass at the moment, or if you want to buy it on Steam, I think it's like $5 right now. So I really enjoyed it.
Might be Apple Arcade too. Jesus, Lando.
I think it is.
I think it's been Apple Arcade since release as well. So that and Game Pass means it's pretty available for most people. But cool.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Angus, talk to me about video games.
Sure. I've dabbled in an older classic as well. Well, not a classic, but I jumped back into some Rocket League recently. With
Rocket League's a classic.
Rocket League is definitely a classic. And lockdown in Melbourne. Lockdown in Sydney. So I've been playing with some of my mates in Melbourne, and I got them all to get on to Rocket League. And so we could all have some chaotic matches, and they got really chaotic because I know this game is like built around traditionally. I think it was kind of like 3v3 was sort of the go-to of how a game should be played. We've been playing because we have 6 of us. We've been playing, I think, 4. No, there's 5 of us. So we've been playing 4v4 to mix up the team sizes. So we've been having these really chaotic matches of it. It is just such a great. God, it just feels good to go back to and remember it as such a simple premise. It is just so much fun, and it's an equal fun for someone like I played a lot of it, so I'm kind of trying to pull off some certain moves, but then my friends who are new to it are just like flying around and they can be chaotic and they're getting better at it, but they're also having fun just being like messing up passes and that kind of thing as well. And it was interesting to see how much content is now available, because it's gone free to play on everything, hasn't it? I believe. And then there's like a
Epic.
A Rocket
I do
Pass
believe Epic made it free to play on all platforms.
Yeah.
And then there's a Rocket Pass you can get to get all the collectibles, that kind of stuff as well. And I was just surprised to see how many different arenas and modes there are. But at the same time, how it just pales in comparison of just going the basic soccer pitch mode of the game is just perfect. They got it like straight out of the gate with the first one. And so, this has become our kind of like downtime game that we play in between rounds of things we play more seriously on console. And it's just been this like great little palate cleanser to say, jump back into Rocket League. But again, 5-a-side, I think we did at one point, like with the we've been playing with bots and stuff as well, just to fill it out. And it's been chaotic, and there's been screams and hollering from multiple microphones, and it's been a very joyous kind of falling back into that kind of couch co-op mode of gameplay that I'm just really happy that I've got some people playing it. And it's heaps of fun, and I just can't recommend it enough.
It's so good.
It's just a comfort food game to go back to.
Totally. And it's been it's a huge game in our community as well. There's been Pocket Rocket League since the OG Pocket.
Yeah, so I'm training myself back up, so I'm ready to get competing again eventually. But it's nothing more fun than just like careening into a pile of cars, hitting it, and getting a goal from the other side, and being like, "Yep, I had no idea what I was doing there." So
this was like one of the defining Pocket games. This was like
totally.
It was this Dota
because John was so sick at it.
Discourse?
Zero Time to Live.
Yeah.
And Discourse. John was insane. Like John was really good. Terrifying.
John was overshadowed only by Icy Mind Racer.
Yes, who was actually...
We did play, we've been playing either against...
Pro.
Well, we've been playing against, like, bots and turning the difficulty up, because I don't think a lot of people are playing in, like, 4-a-side or even 5-a-side matches. It's like the 3-a-side is the go-to. But when we did occasionally do, like, a 3-a-side, and we're like, oh, no, these aren't bots, these are people we're playing against. My friends who are new to it were watching people, like, do the rocket fly up and get a hit mid-air, and they're like, what? And I was like, that's what people who've been playing this game since release can do. And we are not up to that level yet. So, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. But it's my comfort lockdown game at the moment. That's been heaps of fun.
I believe in you.
But the other game I've dabbled in as well is I strapped the old Oculus Quest back on to check out a game that came out, I think, a week or so ago called Demio, I think it's pronounced, which is a tabletop simulator done in VR. It's on Quest. I believe it's also, I think it's on Quest and Rift and possibly a few other formats as well. It is a really, really tight, polished VR game, and it is a wonderful spin on playing a tabletop Dungeons & Dragons style game. However, it is far more streamlined. It's really straightforward in terms of it is a dungeon crawler. It's not a role-playing game, I guess, like in a narrative sense. You work around a table that you have a dungeon map that's procedurally generated, and then using the camera controls, you can get right down in the thick of it and push and pull the camera to get right down to see some really beautiful finer details of moving these little pieces around the board, that are like playing battle chess or something. And it's
Hero Quest, baby.
Hero Quest, something I didn't play, but I feel like this is there's probably stronger ties to that than your Dungeons and Dragons. You select like a hero character, you take a party into a dungeon, and you can then, as I said, it's procedurally generated. There's like gold, chests, and exit to get out of there. You can choose to keep going through other rooms versus like just making a beeline for the exit. There's one campaign, or there has been one campaign since release called the Black Sarcophagus, which I believe dictates the enemy types and the environment you're in. They've just released the second one, which is Realm of the Rat King, which I believe I didn't actually play any of, but I assume therefore it changes some of the rooms and enemy types, because that's really only the variables you've got here. There's some beautiful touches, like the whole thing takes place in like a retro basement. So when you look around you, you are in like a funky, really cool kitted out basement.
Are there avatars for the other players? Or just
yes.
There are pieces? Okay, cool.
So this is a co-op game. I have been playing it single-player skirmish, which is I'm in control of all the players. This apparently is fantastic as a multiplayer game. I'm really keen to dive in and either play with anyone from the community or even just maybe... It's a very confronting thing doing random multiplayer on VR, because you join a game and suddenly there's like hands in a head of someone else and you're like,
totally.
hi, it's a bit more confronting. So I haven't been brave enough to do that.
Do you ever get down like to character level to the point where you feel like you're standing in the dungeon?
I wouldn't say standing, but you can get that close in. The problem there is that you do get a lot of like pop-ups and things telling you details of who's been hit, who's got buffs and debuffs. And when you are that close, suddenly it's a bit it's a bit hard to take it all in.
I guess I like this, that it's kind of simulating a tabletop game in kind of a cooler way. But there's part of me that is like, if it's in VR, I want it to be more immersive than a tabletop game, in that I want to be able to be in amongst it. And I know that takes a lot more in terms of like... Totally. Dev power and stuff like that. But I kind of wish that I could then inhabit my character and kind of, do the fight in a more visceral way.
I don't know. I think then you're just playing a video game, right? As opposed to this is meant to be like a tabletop experience realized in virtual reality. I think this is really cool. I can't last more than 10 minutes in any piece of VR, so... I would never play this, but if I could, I absolutely would be trying to get my mates to play this, because
I think some of the interaction that you're talking about, Steph, which I agree, it'd be a nice little party trick to be able to be like, I want to see what that player's doing when they do this attack or something.
Yeah.
The interactive elements that do feel very video game heavy that work so well in VR, it's like when you choose to do an attack, you'll get a little a die in front of you that you get to pick up and throw across the table. When you want to use different powers, you flick your wrist like you're seeing here, and all these cards appear, which are ability cards. So it's a deck player in that sense. And just
items,
I think I talked about this months ago when I was talking about some other VR games. There's always, hopefully in most games, there's that moment that they do something right that you haven't experienced in VR. I think I mentioned in like a Desert Storm game, I put my gun down and lost it and was like, oh God, like that was such a weird feeling to have. This one in particular, the flicking of the wrist and all these cards popping up with the beautiful little noise that happens never got boring. Like it was such a cool thing to be like, right, what's my piece going to do? all the cards come up. You're like, all right, I'm going to use that one and throw it down. So those are the bits that obviously are simulating what you could do in real life with cards and a die and all that. But it's streamlined in a VR way so well that it's a cool feeling. It's like it definitely puts a different like flavor on how to play a tabletop.
I think it's like for me, when I play board games and stuff in VR, you want to walk that line of going, you want it to feel like a board game, but to do things that you can't know. Like Hearthstone, even though it's not in a VR, is a great example of that, of basically going, Hearthstone is a card game, but all the cards have fancy little effects, and you couldn't have that in real life. So
or even just cards attacking each other, instead of going, that's 2 damage against you, it goes dung dung, and you're like, cool, that's how
and that's like the
balance.
Totally, and that's the balance I feel like I want in these kinds of things, of going, it still feels like I'm playing the game like I would at the table, but it has all this extra stuff that I wouldn't be able to get in real life.
And that's
and a lot of quality to life stuff, because like part of the fun, but also the challenge of like of playing a game on a tabletop is that you roll the dice and they fall in the little cracks in between the slats of timber, and it's like, does that count? It's like you never have any of that with
Pete, you'd love this because you get an aggressive roll. You're like, bah, and throw it across the room.
Yeah, perfect.
So there's those little things which are really fun. I will say, like, the environments themselves that you're seeing now, they are a little encroaching. I'd love it if there was a way that you could almost do the drop down. Like, you know, when you have one of those old Heroes Quest boards that doesn't have the actual geometry of the room, and so it's just the lines are walls.
Yeah.
Because like, if you want to see where the players are, occasionally you're turning the board around, and there's a lot of just the construction of the map or the room that gets in the way a little bit. It can get finicky. Where you're like, I just want to get that one out of there and pull him out of there, and then suddenly you realize, I'm like, I'm super zoomed out. Let me go all the way in and stuff. So there's a few things to get your head around, and that you could. I'm sure if you played a lot of it. But I'd be really keen to try this and play with some people cooperatively. Or I don't know if it's I think it is purely cooperative. But it's a better VR experience, or it's a much better idea for a VR game than I've seen a lot of other do recently. And it's heaps of fun. There's a few campaigns, and I think they're going to keep supporting it because it's doing really well as a VR title. So it's
cool. Demio.
And I want to play more of it. So you could say, I want to Demio more. Demi more?
Oh my god.
Demo.
No.
How were any of us meant to make that connection, dude?
That was the weirdest No. No. Moving on.
No.
Okay, everyone buckle in, because Nikki's got 6 games he wants to talk about, but I will go through them pretty quick.
Call of Duty.
No, I'm gonna go. The first 2 will be very quick. So the first one, I do want to say, this is mainly just for Gus. Call of Duty Black Ops. I hit level 100 in the battle pass. I finished the battle pass. That's that sexy skin you saw today when we grouped up.
Is that a shiny Jackal?
Yeah, Jackal has this sort of like shimmer suit thing going on, but very cool. So yes, very much enjoying like all the shit I got.
And here's my reaction when I saw it. That you didn't get on the show.
There you go. Thank you very much. The second game, I finished Prey. My first shame shave is all done. Finished that on stream. And I said this on stream, I am so happy that I went back to this game. I am so thrilled that, look at that fucking unpurple lighting. I'm so glad I went back to this game and actually played it. It was such a delight in every possible way. I feel like the last sort of 2 hours dragged a little bit for me, and I wish it ended just a little bit earlier, because it did that thing of just like things happened where suddenly it was like, I'm nearly there, and then something happens and you go, oh my god, like I was there, come on guys. But this is a genuine gem of a game with some twists that happen, which I was just like, oh my god, what is going on? A complete joy. I'm so happy that I got to experience with so many people. And it was one of those games that, like, it seemed like almost literally every single person in the chat had played the game, but everyone loved the game so much that they were happy to watch someone else play it. And Steph, you'll appreciate this, experience it for the first time and have all those experiences. So yes, it was a total blast. I see Kemi Camera saying Moon Crash is honestly better than the main game. And I am not going to play Moon Crash because it's mainly just like a roguelike, and it's mainly about the combat and stuff. And the combat was my least favorite part of this game, even though the gun is cool, the glue gun. it was just like I was there for the world building and the narrative and the sort of like atmosphere of the game. So yeah, a total joy. The next shame shave that I'll start ticking off, which I announced, is going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. So I'm very keen to jump into that.
You've set yourself up with some solid games to tick off that list.
I know, that's like a 45-hour game.
You've done 2, and I've done 1.
That's true.
And
I haven't done any, but I'm going to take on Half-Life pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really
good.
excited. I'm going to watch you play all of that because
That's Half-Life 2, right?
Either.
Yeah.
Half-Life 2, yeah.
Yeah, good. And Pete's trimmed a whisker of Kingdom Hearts.
And God of War. And neither of them particularly appeal to me.
Oh my God.
But I feel like that counts. Sorry?
I said we can't have this fight again about God of War, but yes, it counts. It counts.
Kingdom Hearts definitely is better than God of War, you're right.
God. Okay, moving on now because I won't be
That's
able to.
bait.
So the next 4 games are games that most of you I don't think will have heard of, but they're all fantastic in their own ways. The first one is called Flatland Volume 2. I never heard of Flatland Volume 1. Gus, this is a video game for you. Flatland Volume 2 is a platformer that is it has a Geometry Wars look to it, but it actually plays the most like Celeste. It has super, super tight controls. You are going from screen to screen. It's this thing of you basically just plays this cube that needs to navigate this world and get from one side to the screen to the other to the exit. It has this awesome, absolute banging soundtrack that you on left bumper, which I love this left bumper, you can just cycle between like 6 or 7 different tracks, which is awesome. You jump, it's got that sort of Meat Boy thing as well going on. But the thing that made me think of Celeste is the actual style of platforms that you have, where you have run, speed run, jump, a mid-air dash that can like boost you up in any direction, and then you can jump into these like portal things that take you to these other levels in which there are like puzzle chambers that you need to unlock. It's like $5 on Steam or something, and if you're just looking for a really fun, super tight platformer, this is just so the thing you should be playing.
Yeah, cool.
Did you ever play the Impossible game?
I did play the Impossible game, yes.
I saw this on Switch, and like
If it's not the same devs, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, totally.
I thought this was shovelware on the Switch when I saw it, but that's cool. I will definitely check that
slick.
Yeah, no, it is Grip Digital. Do they do? Let's see if Grip Digital did do this, because you're right, it does.
It's just like the cube moves, animates in the same way, and there's spikes everywhere, and like that was like a
troll game.
challenge, like trial gauntlet thing, as opposed to a game where you have more control over the character. You basically just time jumps, but
it's
this looks
not the same
very
devs. This is Mini Mole Games, but yeah, this is heaps of fun, and I really,
Cool.
I heard about this on Waypoint podcast, and it's just it's great. So definitely check this one out if you're looking for like a fun, cheap platformer.
Skirvik says terrible name though, and I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think the volume 1 of it was just more of the same. I think they've just made new levels, so it's kind of like
Yeah, cool. But very cool. Flatland Volume 2. The next one is Round Guard. So this is on PC, but it's also on Apple Arcade. And this is basically just Peggle with RPG mechanics. So you play... You don't play as anything. You play as Peggle. But instead of pegs, they're all enemies, health potions, mana pots, this sort of like upgrades and stuff that you go through. So the idea is that unlike Peggle, where most of the time you're kind of just like shooting and trying to hit as many of those things as you want, this way, while you don't have any more control than you do in Peggle, you are trying to sort of strategically go, okay, I'm going to try to hit this thing first and then aim up to this health potion and then come down onto this mana potion so that I can have an extra little boost to burst through this stuff, and sort of like chain stuff together with cause and effect, as opposed to just how you are going to rebound off things.
There's a tiny amount of that in Peggle, in the purple peg being a multiplier and orange pegs being multipliers and stuff, but like this is a cooler and more in-depth version of that.
Yeah, and this has a sort of like do X before you do Y, and then do Z, and then between levels you sort of level up, and the enemies can also like hit back at you. It's super cool, and it's on. I've been playing it on Apple Arcade, so it's free if you have Apple Arcade. It's perfect for the phone, and it's been my sort of like while away 5 minutes while I'm waiting for something game. So I thoroughly recommend this if you want more Peggle in your life, and it even does the Peggle thing. On the last peg that you hit, it does the slow down and everything starts celebrating.
That's so satisfying.
It doesn't have Ode to Joy, which I'm like, I wonder if Peggle have copywritten the idea of using Ode to Joy in a Peggle game, because you can't copyright Ode to Joy.
That song, so just take it and use it.
There are plenty of other triumphant classical pieces that you could use that would be just as wonderful.
We've had a request from Rook 2H7, so I've got to honor that request, and it's going to be an ugly version of it. Sorry, Round Guard's going to stay there.
Peggle 2!
He loves doing that.
So don't take it away from him, Gus. It's the
greatest thing that's ever happened.
So that is Round Guard, and yeah, I really recommend this as being a very cool, like, put RPG mechanics in this kind of game, which oftentimes I get kind of sick of, but this, it kind of reminds me of like, card dungeon card, dungeon crawl, whatever, where it was like, put RPG mechanics in card game. And again, just very cool.
I look forward to this excuse to have to reinstate my Apple Arcade subscription for 1 month to play this and Grindstone or Grindmore, and then uninstall it again and be like,
what was the thing? It was like, it's called like 10 million or something, was like the match 3 that introduced RPG mechanics. That was so cool.
Yes, that was amazing. And Round Guard, but if you get it on Steam, which I believe it's on, it's like $12 on Steam if you don't want to get it on Apple Arcade. Okay, next one. Speaking of mashing video games together, the next one is called Blocky Dungeon. Now, I disappeared again. There we go. The next one is called Blocky Dungeon, and Blocky Dungeon is, I actually found this on itch, so it's in development right now, and it's kind of like a pay what you want, but it's super cool. It is Tetris, but Tetris bricks are dungeon tiles.
Ooh. And
you basically build a dungeon that you need to make your way through to the top.
Oh my God.
So there are, Pete, if you skip like 3/4 of the way through the clip, to get to there are a lot of mechanics going on. Yeah, cool. No, this is fine. Yeah, so there's a lot of mechanics going on in this, and one of the notes is that they are implementing a tutorial, because it does not have a tutorial, and so you will go. So the first like 5 minutes of the game, I was playing it wrong in that I was not moving my character, and I was like, this game is impossible, and I'm dying like after 30 seconds. So you have to do some hunting for the controls. But the idea is that you have like 10 to 14 moves that you can make as your character. One move or like action points. So either take a step or stab something or whatever. Mm-hmm. These tiles are coming down. Every time you lay a tile, it refills half of your action points. And then you go through, you want to lay tiles strategically so that the enemy monsters can attack each other. So you can set them up so that they fight each other. You can come in when they're weak. There are crates and things to unlock, like a treasure chest and stuff to find that give you upgrades and gold, strength upgrades, health upgrades, and you basically work your way through. And then when you like hit the objectives that are listed there, like take damage, so this level is like take 15 damage and remove 2 lines, so, or 2 line combos. So you build it up and up, and then you select to remove a bunch of completed rows, and then those rows clear out like Tetris, and then you can keep building. When you've achieved those, you have the option to now move to a door and escape, or you can keep going and like build up your score. It's still in development. It's super cool. It has that vibe of like Loop Hero, where you go, this is one of those games that I'm kind of just going to while my time away with here and there, and there is a lot going on that I don't understand yet, but it's awesome. And I think that when it's finished and like actually comes out properly, it could actually be a really big sort of like surprise indie hit because it's just got so many unique ideas happening.
Totally. This is how is this not on mobile? Because I'd play the shit out of this on a phone.
Yeah, this is a combination of games that I never would have imagined. But like even just watching those blocks click into place is just giving me like twitchy desires to like download it and have a go.
Totally, and it's so slick with the way that. Because if you think about like what's happening, it's pretty complex that you're putting this stuff down and then it's instantly forming a navigatable space that you can walk through. You also have the ability, if you've sort of formed a way where you've trapped yourself, you can use an action point to like hack through a wall or something.
Yeah, I just little character build out a room there, which is cool because.
So this is Blocky Dungeon, and it's just the weirdest, strangest little game idea, but it's definitely worth checking out.
I think there's something about the sort of compartmentalized nature of the game, which is why, again, I was saying like a phone game it'd be great. But yeah, just creating these little dungeons on your own, as I said, in this self-contained little space using something like Tetris. Yeah, same thing as Steph. It's like, oh, that's so satisfying. It's like part of me wants to like fill those holes, but like do it with like in such a way that you're then juggling not only the Tetris aspect, and then when you're done, obviously you escape out the top. I haven't seen that happen yet, but that's clearing
a door.
One of these.
Like a piece comes down that has a door in it, and then you now need to navigate to the door.
At any point, is it giving you a time that a limit to place those blocks? Like, is it putting that Tetris stress on you that you have to be like conscious of the next block coming before you've thought about where to put that one?
So it wasn't doing that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting that it's not doing that. I went to the developer page on itch, and the guy said that that's initially how the game works, and you can turn that on. He had just implemented, like a few days ago, I think, a patch where you now decide when to put them down as opposed to them falling down like in normal Tetris.
Oh, sure.
And I read that and I was like, I cannot imagine how to play this game.
Complicated it would be.
Because you have to, you basically like, you hit spacebar and it switches between controlling Tetris pieces and controlling the guy or the little knight. And to do that I cannot imagine how stressful it would be as they're falling down faster and faster. But
That's
is a way
challenge
that you can.
mode.
Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blocky Dungeon, thoroughly recommend. Just a super cool idea. And then the last thing that I played is a game that I've heard a couple of people talk about. I had not heard of it before. I'm playing it on Switch, and it's called The House in Fata Morgana. And this is not a video game. This is just a visual novel. This is the most visual novel of visual novels. I play it with one hand.
Whoa!
And not because I'm jerking off, but because it's literally just like one button to hit as you go through the dialogue. But
I love that you like undercut my attempt to make it the joke of being dirty, going whoa, and I'm like, that's all that the joke needs, and you're like, not because I'm jerking off. I'm like, well, now my joke's not.
I did call this stream jacking box at home.
Very good.
But the premise behind it, and it's got, I don't know whether or not I like the art or not. Pete, skip forward
it's
to
creepy, isn't it?
through the clip. It's unnerving.
Yeah.
All the characters have that kid's face is
It's too big. The face is too big for the rest of the
yeah,
Kid needs more sunlight.
That's it. Look at the tiny hand. It looks like that SNL sketch that
Kristen Wiig.
Kirsten Wiig does with the tiny hands.
Totally.
And I'm Junice.
It reminds me
What's
idea
going on, Nick?
Those are supposed to be the same characters that we just saw. It's unconscionable. You just go, those are two completely different works of art, 100%. But the game is, the novel is, the premise is you play as the master of a house that's woken up and you've got amnesia, classic video game bullshit, and there's one of the servants of the house is there and is like, hey, I'm going to remind you about where you are. Let's talk about the history of this house. And basically you go through the history of this house called the Rose Mansion and all the people who have lived there and all the stories that have happened there. And basically it's all tragic and the place is cursed. And so there are a series of like story vignettes. It's like a 40-hour game or book. So there's a ton of stories in there, but it's pretty well written considering it's a visual novel. Like, I've seen people go, this is one of the greatest stories of all time. I played like an hour and a half and I'm like, pick literally any book here. Keep listening to music. It's got really good music actually.
I was just going to say, sorry, I just cranked it because we were going insane because of the blink, 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 blink.
Yeah, some of the plinky music, but there is some really good atmospheric music.
Makes
but
me feel like
literally
this.
pick like any book here and it shits on it in terms
But
of.
why do you think people are saying that? What is it about this story do you think is capturing people's attention?
So I think there's two things. One, this brother and sister are definitely fucking, and you cannot tell me otherwise. There is no way that these two are not in a deeply sexual relationship.
Cool.
It is
Okay.
absurd.
So incest then.
So it's mainly incest. But the second reason I would say is that it is more subtle, as JRPG writing can be. There is far less repetition in this. And it is much more. It has a sense of, it's less like insane wackiness and more. There is a melancholy to it that I think anytime you kind of add melancholy to a story, then it generally feels more important.
You're going to say adding melancholy to incest. I'm like, yes, I know. It's like,
Yeah, well, that comes after the small death. The stories are basically all tragic, and they are compelling in terms of like creating a real sense of mood. So I'm definitely going to continue reading this. But it is, I had not heard of it, and it does have. It's a more approachable visual novel where, except for the two brother and sisters who were definitely fucking, it doesn't have nearly as much of the like bullshit.
Yeah.
So that is the
That's
house
the
in
stuff
Fate
I
and
like.
Morgana.
That's
How far through this are you, and how far will you continue to go through it?
So I'm a couple of hours in. I'll definitely do a couple of stories and see, but I'm compelled by the stories that I have read so far. And it's kind of like it's a nice sort of like, it sucks you in, and so yeah, I'm kind of compelled by it. On Steam, I originally bought it on Steam and booted it up, and it's in 4:3 like a fucking Snyder film, and I was like, no, and so I ended up spending the $50 Australian to buy this on the Switch. Where it's in 16:9 and is also like, I can
Pete,
read
check
it
the company
online down
card.
the couch. No, it's not. I couldn't do that to the company card. That was like, this is too far even for me and the incesty.
You've got to understand. You've got to
Feeding your
understand
incest
that
fetish with the company card.
when you're trying to like block out a scene of just graphic incest porn, you want that extra height.
You don't.
Because that's what you need. That's what
Yeah.
you need. Like a
What could be
superhero
happening on the
pose.
edges? That's the question.
except-
That's always the
except
question.
Brothers gone downstairs.
It's just like, I can't tell you how deeply those two are having sex. It's just wild that anyone would write that and go, yeah, this is a healthy, functioning sibling relationship. So
Shall we move on?
That is my collection of video games this week. There's something there for everyone. But Blocky
I love that
Dungeon,
we
go get
finished
Blocky
on that.
Dungeon.
Yeah.
Well, you don't start with incest. You end with incest.
Rocket League.
Tell that to Game of Thrones. Anything
call.
to save that. Any incest would have saved that ending.
Totally. I would have gladly watched the Lannisters for a couple of hours there rather than what we got. All right. Speaking of things that we've got more Back Pocket coming to you right after this short break.
If you're a business that does online business online, then your online business needs Nicrotex. But don't take my word for it. Fuck. Meet Nicrotex.
By utilizing carbon-bonded tritonic RAM processing nodes in conjunction with cutting-edge peer-to-peer pseudo-random phased accelerated digital intermodulation, we are raising synthesized phase noise efficiencies by 300%. We decoupled semiconductor modules using open-source RX oscillating nanoharmonic quantum discriminators that bypass traditional hardwired XML circuits to allow optimal backend SSL multi-byte enabled BIOS classes.
You can't prove that doesn't make sense, so upload Nicrotex to your servers today. Oh shit, he's getting in mine. Oh shit, no!
Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to the show, and a very big thank you to YowzaB and GrimPikzel for the words from our sponsors, and of course Nicrotex for sponsoring a big part of our show. There you saw the Nicrotex commercial there, a classic, I would say, and also a little tease there for Pocket Watch. At the moment during Pocket Watch, we are looking and recapping at the Loki series on Disney Plus, and we have yet to record the latest one, which we're doing tomorrow morning. But I would say it could be our most positive Loki episode yet.
Ooh.
I think so. And
No.
Oh!
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Oh my
talk about tomorrow. Talk about
This is
tomorrow.
very exciting. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So if you want to watch that, then that'll be up later on tomorrow afternoon. The Pocket Watch episode for Loki, and it's also available as a podcast on all the podcast services of your choice, except for Pete. I saw someone saying that they wanted it on. Was it iHeartRadio? iHeart something? Did
Oh,
you see that in the Discord?
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we should look.
Oh,
into
but there's one of
how it
them.
goes there.
Apparently, one of them isn't appearing on something as well. Look into that back end.
Oh yeah. One of the shows isn't. Yeah, the podcasting is a difficult business. I can see why, even after 15 years, Apple still haven't got it right. All right, let's move on now to our next segment, and that, of course, is very good gameplay.
Yay.
Brought to you by Avexia. Avexia, who also brought me my likes, apparently. Very good gameplay is, of course, a segment where we play a game, a very good game, very well. We thought that we had so much fun because we're at home and we're all sitting in front of our computers. We had so much fun playing a game last week that we just went, well, we may as well just do something like that again, because the party game atmosphere seems to work very well with this format that we've got here right now, because we've done a lot of talking. And so we thought we would change it up a little bit by playing a game called Talking Points. Which is a Jackbox party game from, do we know which Jackbox is this from?
Seven.
Seven?
Seven.
I don't know if
Which
it's
is
in
the
an
latest
early one,
one?
but it's definitely in 7. Yeah.
So Talking Points, the idea behind Talking Points is you're basically giving a PowerPoint, an improvised PowerPoint presentation on the fly, and the topic and theme of which changes as new images and prompts appear to you as you go. And I believe there is a little like what's the word I'm
There is a
looking for?
blurb. I'll get you to start the
Tutorial?
game because you can move to the next lobby, I believe.
You want me to jump in and start that game?
Oh, hang on.
Press-
No, you're
oh,
right. I think it'll automatically start playing that explainer.
Yeah, I think. Do you want me to?
So we'll
hit
time.
that?
We'll definitely time that together because
You want me
I
to
will
click
explain as well that there will be a code in the bottom right hand corner of the screen once we go across to it that you guys can go to jackbox.tv. That's all it is. Jackbox.tv on your phone, on
He's
your
talking
computer.
to you guys, the audience.
You
not
at home.
You guys, us.
You guys at home. Anyone
on a
can
phone
jump in
and
and
or on
be
a
the
browser?
audience. So if you've got access to the internet on a device, go to jackbox.tv and you'll get on the landing page. You just put in the code once you see it.
The idea
you,
being, of
Listelia.
course, that we're like public speaking and that the audience, which is you guys, will be rating us or voting up or down essentially to say how well or bad we're doing based on how well we can like think on the fly and come up with a classic
But
TED talk.
Child
believe
of the
voting-
Jago says, the man on the screen is talking to us.
The voting mechanic is like a constant temperature thing, so you can keep hitting up or down based on how you feel about the subject matter that you're hearing. So it's like
Not
a
looking forward to this.
political worm in a debate.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to hit this big button, and I'm
Hit
just
the
going
big
to see what
button.
happens.
Yep. 2, 1, and now I will.
So we're
across.
What an exciting lineup.
All right.
Let's get things going. First, you're going to create original speech titles for each other.
So this is because the talks that we're all going to do are picked out of random that we
On your
fill in like a
devices,
kind of
finish
Mad
the
Lib,
3
right?
speech titles
We're doing
you've been
right now.
given. Fill in the blanks with something interesting. The weirder, the better.
You can.
The weirder, the better.
See, yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that. Oh god, we're in it. I thought there was the little tutorial. It's not playing.
No.
No. This is us writing
you,
our thing.
You got to put stuff in.
I don't have any time.
Oh, we've got there's heaps of time.
There's 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
We're giving like the themes of the speeches that we're like creating
Fill out
themes
all
of
the
speeches that are about
titles.
to happen.
There's more than
But
one.
we're just adding a word to a predetermined thing. So there's like
Yeah.
a funny sentence with a missing word, and we'll add said missing word and make it hilarious oppression.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, easy. Gosh, I'm funny.
That's
Is
not
that
funny.
music in the background as I say
Yeah.
How much time?
7
Oh, jeez.
seconds, Steph. So that code's down the bottom there, IODQ.
Yep.
Really
so everyone
not
doing that and the audience. The audience
We've got an
170
audience of
minutes. Oh no.
166
Pick
people.
one of the titles
okay.
that has been sent to your device.
Okay, everyone.
This
us?
will be the title
Oh,
of
I'm
your
talking first.
What are you gonna? What's your
presentation.
talk? No, we all pick our talk now.
Yep.
Okay.
That's easy.
Thank you.
Everyone's making fun of the fact that the code is not the
You will
NBN.
be the first
Very good.
speaker.
The NBNs.
The NBNs.
The NBN.
All right.
Excellent
So
question.
I think chat voted for
Speaker,
Nick to be the
you will
first speaker,
presented
and Steph's
with
going
a
to be.
series of slides
Steph's
chosen by
picking
the assistant.
prompts and
When you see a
pictures in the
text
background.
slide, read
Yes,
that text
I am
out loud as
his
part of your
production
talk,
assistant
and
for
move on
this particular
quickly.
talk.
When you see a
Fantastic.
picture
But the
slide,
first one that
just
comes
say
up
words
is the
until
title.
something
You
makes
can't
Yeah,
sense.
they're
change
explaining that right now.
You can even draw and type on the slides. These slides will be picked in real time by the assistant. You should always
Me.
be busy using your controller to set up
You.
the next beat of the
Going to be
speech.
so busy, Stephanie.
You'll see the text and picture options that could follow it. If you don't think the setup text fits the direction of the speech, tap it forward or back to get new options. All speeches will follow this exact structure. Quick personal intro, speech title,
Is disconcerting.
picture,
I don't trust
text
it.
segue, picture, text segue, picture, thank you. Meanwhile, everyone else reacts to the speech in real time. Points aren't just based on value. How many times you hit the button
Too many
is
seconds,
just
I
as
agree.
important. So hit
There's
him
a lot of
hard.
moving parts to this one.
That's it. It'll be over before you know.
It's that easy.
Assistant.
I'm gonna
Good luck, Nick.
We're going to do
get
it.
it started, Steph.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today because I'm excited to be able to give my presentation and my TED Talk. My name is Nick, and today I will be talking about how to incest like a totally radical dude. And I think that this is a topic that is something that I have recently found out is very near and dear to my heart. The key to incesting like a totally radical dude is, of course, to join a church. Because is that not what organized religion is for? Which is basically putting a lot of people who share similarities, be it beliefs or DNA, in a place where they are so shamed by their own sexual identity that they feel the only way I could take this out is either self-flagellation or the flagellation of your brother's penis. When I said this thing at my local library, they banned me for life, and that's understandable. It was not because I said it. It was not because I said penis. It's just because I talked about incest very loudly. They were like, "You have to go to cell." Now, this is someone who has been a product of incest, and you'll see that. Of course, this is how they came out in the first place.
Down.
So they were born a wooden child, and I think that that's probably the biggest. That is the biggest downside to having a child born of this action is that basically you end up giving birth to baby dolls. Of course, this is if you're short on cash. This is a great way to be able to get some nice Christmas presents for the family. Now, if you'd asked me last year, I never would have said, I never would have believed that I'd say this. Of course, last year I was not religious, but it was not until I smelt the socks of my local agnostic greengrocer that I realized that it is the church that truly provides the best path forward when it comes to developing a strong emotional relationship with my sister or brother. Because let me tell you something. Unlike the church, incest does not discriminate about same-sex incest relationships. And so you can develop a relationship with someone of your own gender, and that is why I incest like a totally rad dude. Thank you very much for coming to my TED.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh God, it took a turn at one point. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, let's see where. Oh yeah, they love the
Having a solution there in that last slide.
So
Yeah, have a song.
I wasn't happy with any of the images. I wanted to choose different images, but you can't scroll through those. You have to deal with the ones you've got.
Can't imagine a lot of them talk to the idea of incest.
Baby dude.
We could all write a comment or two here if we'd like to about Nick's speech that we'll see later on.
Fantastic.
That was very good, Nick. That was very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No, that was fun. Oh God. I'm gonna be honest. I did forget that we were live streaming this.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you thought you put your foot in your mouth, sit back and relax. Pete, you're my assistant. I trust you'll be very supportive in this process.
Absolutely, I will be, mate.
Cool. Well, if we're ready to go, I did notice. Oh, okay. Well, we're getting started anyway. Hi everyone. My name's Gus. And
Angus.
today, my talk, or the talk I'll be giving to you all is why foot licking is the spice of life. Now, I'm the perfect person to talk to you about this, obviously. As a foot licker and a spicy liver, I know what's going on. Now, as a young lad, I was successful. But I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be. Life was pretty humdrum. It was pretty boring. I was pushing the pens and working in the regular office. Not spicy enough, my life was. And so one day, I thought I really need to get things moving. So foot licking came into mind, and I thought, how do I get how do I make that part of my life? I'm this boring child in a limo who's clearly doing, making 6 figures a year. And I thought, whoa, let's rewind a little, Gus, because that's how we're going to work out how to really spice up our little life there. So obviously the first thing I tried was spices, because that's how you would spice up your life. I took to some basic oregano, and it didn't do anything for me. Something was still missing. Oregano? I don't know how you pronounce it. I practiced mispronouncing
It's definitely
spices.
not oregano.
Either way, things were still missing. Basic spices, not doing it for me. I tried your cumin, your cumin, your oreganoes, whatever it was, nothing was working. I thought I was licking them all, I was tasting them all. There's nothing to be done. Or is there? There is. And I found it, guys. It's this. And so I'm very proud to announce that to spice up my life, of course. What the fuck? So, of course, I took to the simple process of a 3-person egg smashing mallet gloved cup scenario. It's your basic Wednesday night, as I'd call it. And this started to help. Things got spicy. And I felt like things were improving in my life. Obviously, this just got weirder and weirder. As you can see, gloves came off, eggs got smashed, socks came off, and things started to get licked. That led to foot licking. And life hasn't been the same. I'm out of the rat race now. I've grown up. And I feel like my life has never been spicier. So thanks very much for coming to my TED Talk.
Love
Well
it.
done.
Thank you very much
Oh, so much
dear.
love. So much love.
for that.
What the fuck was that last picture?
It was exactly as you
Things started
described
to
it.
get licked.
It was exactly as you described it. Oh, goodness. The's an egg spam in chat.
Eggs. Oh, fucking eggs. I forgot.
I think. Oh yeah.
Now, it's so many things. You write a comment, I rate my assistant, the audience votes for who did well. There's so many
And the
scores going
assistant picks the, because at the end there's kind of like a portfolio with an image attached to a bunch of words, and the assistant picks the picture from that set that best kind of summed up the egg.
on. Wait, where did eggs come into that one? I'm very confused. So, Peter, suck it up
All
about
right.
yourself now.
And Pete,
Nick.
I am assisting you.
Are you ready to assist me?
I am ready.
You have any prompts? Do you need a second, or do I need to begin
give me-
speech first?
I think you are good to go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Peter, and welcome to my talk, which, of course, is about a presentation about taxes, peppered with quotes from Star Wars to keep your attention.
God.
Both very important things in life, taxes and Star Wars. Now, when taxes talk to a primal need of devouring food. At the end of the day, that's why we're all working, is we need to sustain ourselves. And as one bird is thrown into the oven, another bird is the Millennium Falcon, the finest ship in the fleet. Fastest also.
I'm there.
Falcon. Now, I find your lack of faith in my presentation disturbing, so here's my next point. So Star Wars was the game's prompt. Okay. Again, part of the process of working out how to save money is finding appropriate, when you're filing for your taxes, you want to save as much money as you can in making sure you can redeem credit, and some of that might be buying work items. This is the first outfit that Darth Vader bought for himself. He eventually landed on
Damn
something
Vader.
a little more appropriate. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering, as Vader did. But anyway, it's important to have properly cited sources like this. This, of course, being how do I attach this to taxes? Fucking Star Wars taxes. This
It's a
is
metaphor. It's a
Doing your taxes
metaphor.
is like getting your teeth drilled.
yeah, totally. But that's got nothing to do with Star Wars. This is how they extracted the blue milk from the tooth of a giant that you saw in Star Wars, and it's what filled the cups and filled the bellies of the people on Tatooine. Thank you so much for coming to this horrible talk.
And also, Luke and Leia did the incest.
Yeah,
Of course. And they were so funky dudes, or whatever you were.
Great.
Come on, Graph, baby.
Yeah, look at
Oh, you were too
it
kind.
It
You were
picked
too
up at the
kind.
end there. That was amazing.
Oh,
I know.
angry assist
I know.
face for Nick there. Those pictures.
Yeah.
That was delightful watching Pete get actually stumped.
I got super flustered.
It's because I think it was the dualness, right? It was taxes and Star Wars. I think that the work write-offs was an inspired choice.
Your quotes weren't fair. Like they were a quote and then just also this, and it's like you had to read that whole thing and then be like, "The fuck does that mean?" Here's
somebody
a picture
really
of a man
just
in the mouth.
Somebody just really wanted to shoehorn Star Wars into that one.
Well, I think Star Wars was the game's prompt, and someone put taxes
yeah.
in the field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Cool. Stephanie.
It's me, and Gus is assisting me. Oh my gosh! Please help me, Gus. Give me good ones.
I'll try. I want to try and help. I don't want to throw you off. It's like I can't even see a tangent here.
Yes. Hello. My name's Stephanie, and please sit down and get comfortable because I'm talking about the need. You need my knowledge of hollowed loaves, something that I've been traditionally a staunch advocate of. Just like this duck. The duck, you may not know this, but ducks actually require water to masticate their food because it's too difficult to eat. And when you look at a loaf of bread, all the delicious, fluffy, bread inside, we don't need it. We're just going to hollow it out. And this is not to save calories, and this is not even because it tastes better, but it's because it's what you deserve as a human who just consumes things in life that are just not needed for you at all. And so it's about simplicity. It's about minimalism. And one thing I was overlooking actually is the simplicity and minimalism of fruit that look like body parts. Because if you focus on a hollowed loaf or, a halved orange, they're really all just speaking to our inner nature to see ourselves represented in other things because we're selfish beings and we don't want to do that. We don't want to be focusing on material stuff. We don't want to be thinking about ourselves all the time. Take a second now to imagine this. Your life could be so much better if you really just, wore food as a hat instead of putting it in your body. Just destroy it. Destroy the food. Stop thinking about how it may or may not look like a vagina or has holes in it. It's really not. It's not something that we need. It's just something that is a foolish pastime, like this dog who has seen the light and finds better uses of donuts. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and I hope you've learned something valuable today.
I love the idea of all the people in the TED Talks looking at their ticket stubs going,
I thought Neil deGrasse Tyson was meant to be here.
oh dear.
Well done.
Huge score.
Grapefruit, was it?
I like that you went through all of that and didn't mention, like, so many things to just, like... No, you know what? No.
Were you about to pay me a compliment, or were you about to say something mean?
No, nothing mean at you. Nothing mean at you. I thought you were going to, like, derive some more, like, sexual connotation from all the foods by the end of it. Not by suggestion, just by the end of it. I was like, a lot of things with holes in them, and I was like, well done. You kept it clean.
Well, I think it started on.
Kidding me?
It was started on such a difficult topic for me because I'm obviously.
I think Nick
pro
got,
the
Nick
inner
got
part
ripped
of the
off
bread
by people not realizing how the voting system worked in that first round.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like I got my.
And also maybe because you're talking about incest a lot by choice.
That's probably that.
Yeah.
Probably that, I would say.
Yeah, could have been that.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. There are the scores. Okay. Steph and I were only 200 points apart from each other, but we were like this.
Yeah. That's a
should have fucked the sock instead. I got wood. Doll. I'd lick that. Dust bunny. Very good. Peter, I'm honestly
maybe
shocked.
on the two taxes.
Fill it with cheese and
bread
meat.
be free.
And now, the moment of truth.
Very good. Very good. That's so funny.
Each of you has one last big award to give out. And that
Oh, yes.
Now, there's
the
awards that
audience.
we've got to choose. To go
We
to.
assign awards, don't we?
Yeah.
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 And then, did you say that the audience has a chance to give an award too, Pete?
I'm not sure. I assumed
big
that
decision,
audience
I
would get a
guess.
shot because we're throwing a bunch of points around here that changes the game.
Maybe.
Maybe the audience should have a say.
The Bangin' Your Brother award.
Yep, they
Goes
do.
to me.
Yep.
Fill the
Fill your
hole.
hole.
Yay!
That was meant to say bread.
Also me.
Tiny Hole award.
Nice.
Oh, Wonder Dick.
Oh, thank you very much, Steph.
That's the edible fragrant award.
Yeah, so
Oh,
this
that
is
must be the audience one.
Hey!
Yay!
Well
Especially the winner.
Nice work.
Well done,
Step of the
Stephanie
top three.
Benn-Dixon.
What's only 3 awards?
Yes. Smashed it.
Oof.
Second right after first.
Nice.
The scoring system is, I think, a bit odd.
All over the shop.
Yeah.
I think, as Nicrotex pointed out, a reminder that you can continually press up and down because it is a worm. So when things are happening that you don't like, audience, you can go down because literally, I think for all of them, it was just
Up.
raging up the entire
Yeah, but I
time.
didn't realize all our avatars have. You can
we're on
see
the
our
side,
hands individually. So I'm
Totally.
a deer. So I've got a little hoof that moves up and down. So Peter could, in theory, look across and be like, "Gus is just downvoting me here like crazy."
I keep forgetting to draw on the screen. I just get so
I didn't do that
flustered
either.
about
We should do, let's do another round. Let's do another round.
Let's do another
I
one.
feel like
Let's do
we're
another
moving
one.
into it now. I
And
feel
now
like
everyone knows how it works as well. So it's
totally.
It's hard to
I feel like I should mention as well, when we floated this game as something we could play, Pete did say, he's like, I'm going to be so shit at this. And in the 2 rehearsals we did, he was so fucking happy, nailing it and like ad-libbing and having so much fun because he had good options. And that one you were like,
I floundered.
No.
Everyone's just like, quiet. Hang on, let me crank the music a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
Don't forget, you have 3 titles.
I know.
Already done. 30 seconds to go. Pete did an impression of a fish. Floundered. Nice. I was going to go. That's my fish impression. Don't forget to annotate the screen as well. Yes, yeah, we totally will. We totally forgot last time. You guys are not done. You got 7 seconds,
Oh, God.
6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I
1 second.
Okay, yes.
I did it.
I didn't.
Now,
Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was all right.
one of the
It's all
titles
right.
that
It's all right.
has
They
been
just won't
sent to
choose
your
it one if it's
device.
not finished.
This will be the
Yeah.
title of your presentation.
It's weird. One of mine was like 2 words. It was just like, this is, that wasn't it. But it was like, what? It like gave me no context.
Yeah, right.
And it stumped me the most.
Sparta.
Okay, it's time for our first
Oh.
speaker.
All right, Pete. Time to shine, buddy.
Let's do it. Nick,
Alrighty,
you prepared?
I am ready.
I regret
So
that.
we're
Thank you,
reminding
everyone, for
everyone can worm up
returning
and
to
down
my
like
TED
crazy.
Talk after that last disaster. My name is Peter, and today my talk is about my first job as personal assistant to Varjo, which is real.
Oh my God, that's so real. Holy shit.
I can tell a story about one of the jobs that I was required to do as an assistant to Varjo, which was put him inside a box. He was dressed as Sonic. The box was actually the other way around. It was flipped
is
up
real,
the other
people.
way around. He hopped inside the box. He would fit in the entire thing. There's a little Varjo in there. And then he burst out of the box as Sonic. So it was definitely a wild and varied job. Something smells fishy, though, and I'll tell you what it is. It's the beach. You would never find Barjo at the beach before he moved to Adelaide. He was definitely a land-faring mammal. You would see him on the streets of Newtown holding a hot cup of joe. Maybe you would find him out the front of his apartment in Newtown, poking with a stick a sock that had been consumed and digested by a dog and shat out the other end. And what a marvel that was. But what can be done about the job of working for Barjo? Well, sign your life away, because you will not recover. The things that you will see, the things that you will learn, will stick with you forever. And I can tell you that this is going to be a death sentence to all. Worth it? No. That's a sad skull and crossbones. And that is the stamp that I put on that last will and testament. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. And that was real. That was all true.
That was all real.
Very good.
He did the
Lovely
box thing a
work.
couple of times. I remember the one was to film on his phone as Sonic, that he did in slow motion, but the slow motion started way too early, so there was like 4 seconds of real time before he jumped out, so watching it back, it was like, nothing's happening. But then he jumped out of a box to scare you once, Steph, that he made me like tell him when you were coming, and like playing Sea of Thieves, your reaction was not to his liking. It was like,
Barjo loved bursting out of boxes almost as much as he loved shoving a whole chocolate bar in his mouth and chewing it, waiting till you looked at him and then spitting it out.
Yeah. The guys are...
I gotta say, Nick, well assisted. That's a
Thank you
massive
very much.
smile.
Thank you very much.
lots of likes on that one.
Yeah, no, that's a solid score the whole way through.
Very good.
Stephanie,
Oh, it's me. Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
assisting?
Oh, it shows you the awards that you won. in the
Steph's
last game.
credentials.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Don't forget to
the
do
Bray
your
Award is
art,
my
Steph.
greatest achievement.
The Bray
The
Award.
Bray. Don't forget to do your art. Oh, Barjo's here. We were talking about you, Barjo.
Oh,
Did he
we're
have a
talking
whole
about
round about
boxes.
himself?
We were just talking about you hiding in boxes.
What were you
on
saying
the
about
ABC.
me?
Sorry, Steph, go.
He's
Stop,
live
stop.
streaming
Steph started,
right
guys.
now.
Steph started.
My talk is about artificial intelligence. It's never going to replace humanity's ability to shit on the toilet. And here's why. We just love pooping out small brown objects. That's just what we love to do. It's what we were made to do. We were designed to do. And I think people feel too organically connected to that act to really rely on any other form of
Egg.
defecation. Egg. If you look, the shape of it really is just designed to come out of a person. This next picture, though, will give you hope if you're worried about the future of your toilet use. And that is the fact that we have these giant suits that have toilets inside them. And I'm not talking about a Dune-style suit that kind of, sucks it all away. I mean, they actually have little mini toilets inside them so that you can use the toilet throughout the day and look cute doing it. Because that's really all we ever wanted. This guy right here knows what I'm talking about. But you know what? None of that matters. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to end up in a situation where, a robot has taught you how to poop a different way and not in a toilet, and you'll be upside down and it goes everywhere and it's on the ceiling. And that's 1, unhygienic, 2, unsatisfying and uncomfortable, and 3, it's against nature. So, I would say that really it's about preserving what is truly human about us all, and how we move forward in the future as toilet users. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I feel actually inspired by that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to go and do a poo right now.
The sheer confidence of, on your last slide, deciding to start listing, 1, it's like, you're going to at least do 2 more. B, or 2. Very good.
Oh, God.
Very good.
Crossbun says, God damn, I love this show, and God damn, I love cross buns.
Did Crossbuns write goddamn I love Crossbuns? Right, okay.
Good assisting,
good
Gus.
stuff.
Good assisting.
Did my best. Sorry, the egg looked like a poop, and that's where you got it.
That's very good. That's very
The
good.
egg did look like a poop. Well done.
Pete, who was my assistant last
Hell
time?
yeah,
Was
buddy.
it you, Pete?
I think it was me.
All right. Well, you did a great job last time, and you good stuff, buddy. I didn't pick my speech, so I'm just going to click go. Cool. Hi, everyone. You might remember me from my previous talk about footlicking. My name's Gus, and today I'm here to talk to you about the very important topic that is, of course, that I once saw God, and I'm here to report that God is, in fact, Keanu Reeves.
Amen.
This is a truth that I think I don't even need to be up here to
Hallelujah.
tell you about. It's something we all agree with. When faced with the choices that someone like Keanu Reeves faces, that is the choices between things like fear and courage, we both know which way Keanu Reeves will turn. And that is, of course, around. He won't take either of those options. He will head back the way he came, because that's the self-reflection that you only get from someone as in touch with himself as Mr. Reeves, as I call him, instead of Keanu, that everyone else has just decided to informally call him, which actually is a name he made up for himself. But look, I digress. Here's the bad news. We think there's nothing bad could come of Mr. Reeves himself. That's not true. There is some negative connotations that surround him. And that is, of course, that he is a Minotaur. You don't notice when you hear him talk or when you see him publicly, because he is so enchanting. God himself would be able to misdirect you to keep eye contact, to be like, wow, you're breathtaking. But the whole time you don't notice that he is in fact mounted on 4 cloven hooves. Now, cloven hooves often assimilated with the devil, but in this case 4 of them cancel themselves out. That was 3, but those paying attention at home would realize that by having 4 you do become a deity of sorts, which is of course as Mr. Reeves is. Now, how does this impact your day-to-day life? Good question. I know you've come to this talk thinking you've just blown my head open when it comes to my idea of formed religion, and that is this: that when we think about things, when we step outside of ourselves, if we step outside of the planet, as it were, and look back on this little blue marble that we exist on, with the innocence and frailty of a kitten, if that's the perspective you want to take, you would realize that the world itself, it's breathtaking. God is, in some form or another, centaur or human-based, is breathtaking, and that all does sum up to really make the equation come together to say that God is Keanu Reeves, and thank you.
Carl Sagan
Well
there.
done.
Now,
Beautiful.
if you look at the graph, I'm clearly the only person actually paying attention to what Gus says, because that massive downvote spike, that was clearly a centaur and not a minotaur.
Yeah.
And
Fuck, did I
horses don't
said
have
Minotaur, but then I
cloven
came
hooves.
back and said Centaur at the end, didn't I?
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
you were covered
yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, and
You're
then I
covered.
spiked back up, and so you
I got my
you
tours
definitely earned
wrong. I'm
that.
so sorry. Typical. Well done,
done.
Peter. This is only proof that I used to be good at one thing at school, and that was debating, but unprepared debating, when I would forget to do the homework and be like,
Of course, the debate's happening today.
That's today, is it?
All right, I am ready to give my talk. And hi, my name is Nick. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. And I'm excited to be talking to you about a topic very close to my heart. And that, of course, is that love is a mystery worth solving. What can I say about love? Love,
Fuck you.
true love, is what brings us together today. And of course, love is where you spend a lot of time with someone who you have affection for. Love is where you watch them from a distance with a camera. Love, and we're seeing a picture of love. This is love right here. Love is a man. He's that sense that there's someone always watching. You know what I mean? While you're happy with your true love, love is there in the background, biding his time, because he knows what he wants. Now, I was unprepared for this shocking twist, but it turns out that what love wants, and you're never going to believe this, because I certainly didn't, but it turns out that what love wants is to dress up like an alligator and eat your true love for dinner. Now, what we're seeing here is a hip bone of someone's true love. We're seeing, so this is the hip of a true love, and this is love's true form. So that's love, true love's form. And he's sitting down having dinner on your beloved. And now I tried to warn you because I was unprepared for this. And I'm telling you now, get your scorecards out because I'm about to fucking stick this landing. Love, true love, it will follow you forever, even if where you're going is down the back of a couch. Now, when love chopped up your true love, he had to do something with the remainder of the legs. He fed a little bit to this dog here that you can see, but most of your true love this is just the legs. Most of your true love has been consumed by love. Love has been consumed by love. Love is a love-eating monster, and now you have a nice ornament for your couch. If you don't have enough cushions for your true love, or if you don't have a true love, then love is here to make sure that you can get yourself a nice pair of love leg pillows. Thank you very much for coming to my TED.
That was beautiful,
Bravo.
Nick. That was really moving and special.
What the fuck is stock imagery these days? Seriously.
Comment like
It's
you did it.
insane. Like, someone had to sit still in that costume and go, and got it. It's like, that was a day's work for someone. That is insane.
Well done, Steph. Fantastic assisting with that one.
Oh, I'm glad.
Get kind of, is that a dildo in the dog's mouth? That's a good question.
Could be.
I think it was
Could
the
be.
dick
Well
of the
done.
true love.
The award ceremony.
Oh, okay, right.
Did we all?
All done.
This
we all talk?
We're going to give out into funny names.
We did all talk.
We all talk.
Yeah, we're done. Talked.
Seems rigged.
Oh, we got
Seems
to.
rigged.
It does seem rigged. We got to fill in our awards.
Peter, very close this time.
Delivering another Bray award.
Very-
So this is the combined score of our speaking score and our assisting score. Because you get half of the
What's the assisting
speaking
score?
score
Remember
Oh, okay.
by the look of the graphics.
Oh, right.
Peter's
Got it,
speech.
yeah.
People were nostalgic and too real, man.
Yeah. yeah.
Scatacular.
Turtle heads.
Nice.
Very good.
Nick wrote, I'm a
Wrong
religious
tour.
woman now.
No, I wrote wrong tour.
Obviously.
Loved it.
Right.
Very good. Good. We've got the awards to
Oh,
go
the
on
award
as well.
ceremony coming up.
Each one
Right,
of you
audience.
has one last big award to bestow, and that includes the audience.
There's so much information to take in this thing.
I know,
How
it's
quickly
crazy.
They go through. You're like, wait, what were
What I'm
these?
looking at.
Isn't it nice when?
Also, like, by the end,
big
I feel like we as voters, like, I was pretty supportive of everyone, the Brie Award.
Yeah.
Like, who would be a dick and be actively seen to be down voting someone
Yeah,
while they
I know.
talk?
It's the same people that are putting thumbs downs on our fucking YouTube videos.
Love that.
No,
Too many
no.
love awards.
That was me. I was down voting. Tons.
You bastard. The Missing E Award. Oh, they're all
Hey.
going to... Wait,
Yay.
Why did I get that one?
The horse
Tube
tube.
Award.
Nice.
Christ.
Nick.
Holy smokes,
Very
running
good.
away with
Very
it.
much.
Just kidding.
Any
I
awards?
love it.
Yay!
Thank you very much, everybody.
Fucking rigged.
I felt like your incest talk was truer
I
to
came
the idea
fourth?
of true love.
Oh,
I
I think
agree.
so too.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, because Nick
When
went
you-
from,
Pete,
Nick,
when two words
Nick shot
make
from
love-
last place to first place with the awards.
Yeah,
it was a
pretty
real
much.
comeback.
When two words that are related to each other make love, then they produce a love.
Perfect. Perfect.
My entire speech is paid for advertisement for 5 gum.
That's audience favorite
that was
rejected
a rejected
title.
title.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Those 5 gum streams. By the way, I should say that, and if 5 gum sponsor this show, then we'll never talk about this. But if 5 gum do sponsor, now that they're sponsoring streams, I think they should insist on not insisting that the streamers eat 5 gum while they're streaming, because
they
I
do that?
tuned into one and it was literally just 2 hours. of just chewing gum. And it was like, no. This is a terrible advertisement for gum.
I'll never eat gum again.
Oh, good. Excellent work. That is very fun game.
Exhausting fun versus the drawing was like whimsy. That was like, I feel the pressure is off, like homework is handed in.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, it's hard.
good.
I find it, I'm not very like quick as a person, so I find it difficult to be spontaneous in the moment, but I feel like there's so much bullshit involved in what we just did that it's okay.
We put a lot of pressure on
You mean our
ourselves
jobs?
talking in front of people.
Off the cuff. All right, we'll do a little bit more talking after we come back from this short break.
We are almost out of words from our sponsors, which is one of the specific tiers we have on the Patreon.
I think the issue is like a sense of pressure that it has to meet a certain standard. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't.
Not enough pressure. Maybe you need us to put the pressure on, to lay it on thick.
Sense of pressure. Sense of pressure. Sense of pressure.
Pressure.
Pressure, 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 pressure.
A sense of pressure.
Oh, shit, run!
Get a bit confused sometimes.
It's fine. That's her after she's eaten cat shit.
She loves eating cat shit.
Fucking loves cat shit. Hey guys,
Why?
it's all about the family!
Oh gosh.
Whoa! It's just like a never-ending supply of balls. It's alright, I got a treasure chest here. A classic treasure chest.
That's got nothing in it.
What?
Now it is an empty receptacle.
What?
Did you just put your monkey in there and shoot it? I feel like the guys I was getting matched with on most dating apps were just not right. Like, these were bad men. So now, after every awful date I have, I just tell them to join Allwood.
From parent IT company Isaac, Allwood is the dating app for the modern woman who's sick of being matched with assholes. Here's how it works. Men join thinking it will be an easy way to hook up, but what they don't realize is there are no women here. Allwood is just dicks. Now these guys will only get matched with people who share their interests. Interests like lying in their profile bios, not calling you back after the first date, and actually being married with kids. Let's hear from some of our unsatisfied customers. Don Juan DeFucco asks, where do ladies at? Biker Balls wants to know, why do I keep getting matched with jacked dudes who send me pictures of their dicks? And Sisyphean Penis has the self-awareness to ask, is this some sort of ironic Grecian myth punishment? Allwood, there are no women for you to harass here. It's just all wood.
Let's give it to him.
He said,
Nice.
well done. Well done.
Another 5.
You ramped up there at the end.
Wow, that's what is that music?
That's the big party theme, mate.
It's party, yeah. It's big party time. Party.
Welcome back, and thank you to toxiCHORG and Avexia for 2 fantastic words from our sponsors, and of course, Allwood, Isaac Allwood, for sponsoring the show. You too can become a sponsor by heading to patreon.com/backpocket or backpocket.gg and become a member of our Patreon, and that is the best way to be able to get your support behind the show. But if you can't support us with your dollars, then we are happy for you to support us with just your eyeballs and by spreading the good word of Pocket. And the best way to spread the good word of Pocket is by pushing out our social channels. You can go follow Back Pocket Vids on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Follow, share, like, retweet our stuff. That is how we grow. That is what Ben is doing. It's the whole purpose of Ben existing, not just his job, but his life now. His entire life's purpose is sharing Back Pocket videos. So don't you want to give his life meaning? Don't you? You should do that. And the other thing that is gives meaning to life is the game of life. Presented by Nicrotex. The game of life presented by Nicrotex is now normally I would read out a tweet from Nicrotex, recently tweeted out, and I will do this but I will also encourage you to go to this tweet yourself, because I saw yesterday Nicrotex had put out a little tease for a creative project that he's been working on, and then his latest tweet 10 hours ago: hello, I made a video that starts with me trying to explain Destiny and turns into me gushing over how great it is to make friends on the internet. Now, I have not yet watched the video. I did watch the tease, and I'm going to watch the video after this. So I'm very excited to check this out. So please head to Nick Belling, at Nick Belling on Twitter, and watch that lovely video that he made, because the tease was very
I have
funny.
watched it in its entirety, and it
Me
is
too.
fucking delightful.
It's great.
The man is a fucking delight. He's a well-rehearsed, well-spoken, incredibly articulate, and very humorous internet video maker, and it was great. It was really good. I second what Nick said. Everyone head over there and watch that video, because it's a nice, also, like, I like a 20-minute video now on my YouTubes, and none of this like 5-minute shit. Like, I want a good like time thing to take a bit of time, and this was perfect.
It's slick too. He's got some like great video
graphics.
production in there, graphics. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And a good layout for the content delivery as well. Very it's all very wonderful.
I put a link in the chat to the video, so I'm excited about watching that later.
Yep, delightful.
The game of life. Now, this is a segment where we recommend something that will bring your life joy, will improve your life, will add something to your living. Gus, what's making you feel alive?
You know what? Not a lot these days, being in lockdown. Life is a little less fun than it has been in the past, thanks to lockdown. But I partook in a activity a couple of weeks ago, which I found very soothing, very relaxing, very cathartic, and that was, of course,
Bath wank?
Bath wank. I haven't got a bath, Peter, so no, I have no idea.
Just normal wank?
I would if I could.
No, it's that I don't have a bath is the reason I said no. No, I made my own candles. I took a really ugly candle, I melted it down.
Oh my god, it's
great.
It's the freaking Red Dead Redemption
barrel.
candle.
It was a Red Dead Redemption barrel candle. I melted it down and I proceeded to re-pour it and create my own wicks.
Very cool.
In a series of vessels. And I learned how to hang a wick.
Series of vessels. Why every time we play this game do you talk like an AI?
I don't know.
Lathers and creams. A series of vessels.
This is so weird.
But they set and they worked well, and now I made a number of candles out of one ugly big candle that I didn't know again what I was going to do with it. To rewind you there, like
it looks like you've got way more mass than you started with.
Totally.
I don't know how I turned that
physics here.
into those.
Yeah. Sorry, go
but I
one
did
more.
somehow.
What did it come from?
There are the vessels, and there was the candle at the beginning. Lovely smelling candle, but it was this huge. It was tobacco-y, something lavendery as well. If I lit that one, I imagine that one would have like just gone everywhere. I didn't have somewhere like candles need to be in vessels.
It was an interesting scent. It was just really ugly to look at, and it's hard because I'm always saying like. We constantly get so much stuff sent to us from PR companies, and a lot of the time it's like, I'm very grateful, but like I I don't know if I can handle like another water bottle or like synthetic blanket. And I'm like, surely there's a way to be more creative. They certainly were more creative, and that was a cool idea. And then it arrived, and I was like,
Pretty much all of Rockstar stuff.
The Rockstar stuff was very schmick. They had like it's like some metal dominoes to play a game of dominoes, and yeah, this candle was lovely smelling, but it was just like very like I don't know where you would have lit that, and so I was staring at it for so long, and I was like, I need to melt this down. Given that you do need to like melt other candles down, but I've seen a lot of people have like used the
first candle was created.
Yeah,
that's true. I've seen a lot of people who've got a bunch of candles that only have the bottom left, and you can melt all of those together and combine them, and it often turns into a nicer fragrance or a nice fragrance. I don't know if anyone's melted candles together and made a bad smell. It's often like you're just mixing very potent smells that end up being nice. So recycle obviously is the first message there, but if you can do it with candle form in a series of vessels, then I highly recommend it because it was a fun process and it went well. I thought it would go a lot worse. And it went quite well.
I love reading
and
chat.
how's the table coming, Gus?
So it's like a lavender. It's like the way it pops in your nostrils. It's such a satisfying.
I love
satisfying
in chat.
process.
Antonia II yelled, "Just send the man back to the 19th century," and then Arcane Blob screamed, "You broke the law of conservation of matter."
I'm like, and if I melt those ones down, I'm like, oh fuck, I've got 12 now. What the hell's going on? This is how candles produce, yeah.
Great.
But sorry, and like just the boring part is that like I put the candle in a bowl and then put that into a saucepan of hot water and like slowly melt it down using like simmering the water. So it was a timely process. It took a lot of time, but it was like, yeah, that was how I did it. There's heaps of tutorials on the internet and they're quite satisfying to watch as well. So maybe just watch someone else make candles.
Cool. Stephanie, improve our lives.
Yes, I do have something that has dramatically improved my life, and it's here right now. It is this specific blanket, and the reason why is because...
Oh, you talked about this the other day!
Yeah, it is actually an electric blanket, like you would put on your bed, but it's like a throw blanket, so it's not designed to be put under a sheet or anything on your bed. And it just gets like, I find it very difficult to like heat the house in a way that is like sufficient for my cold-blooded body and also like cost effective. And so we have all the heating that we have is pretty much in the sort of kitchen living area.
Main living space, yeah.
Yeah, the main living space. We don't have heating anywhere else. So when I spend a lot of time in my office in winter, I'm just like freezing. And obviously it's the mountains, it's cold here, probably colder than anyone else. But if you live in Canberra or Adelaide or Victoria, you would experience like some pretty intense cold as well. I find it's so much easier to just heat myself than trying to heat this room, which is still very cold. And it has actually just transformed my life. All winter, I've been wrapping myself up like a little burrito in this blanket and just been able to game for ages. I'm comfortable. It's got multiple settings. It automatically turns itself off as well, so it's like less of a fire hazard. You can set a timer for like how many hours you want it to be on. If you do forget to turn it off, it'll just automatically turn itself off. And it has like a heat range from like it has a heat range from like 1 to 9. So you've got a broad range of
too many options.
Yeah, that's a lot of
How do you know if you need a 7? Give me low, medium, high at most. I will take off medium, high.
I like to,
That's
because
all I need.
it changes throughout the day and it changes based on the clothes that I'm wearing. Sometimes I only need a 4. Sometimes I might bump it up to a 6, maybe a 7. Right now I have it on 9 and I'm sweating a little.
You have it on 9?
That's fucking crazy.
You're cooking yourself. You're cooking yourself, Steph.
I am.
Thank God you have
burrito.
no use for those eggs because they are sunny side up right now.
No, Steph, this plays totally into like, I used to, like when I was cold in Melbourne, my mum was like, put a jumper on. Warm yourself. I'm not going to warm the house for you. And it's like, it plays into that.
In my defense, I am wearing a thermal right now, and I own so much wool, and I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks, both wool and Ugg boots.
And a 9.
And a 9?
Yeah. I get very cold.
What's funny is that, like, on a semi-serious note, I've got a cheap little blow heater in my room that I occasionally use just to take the chill out in the morning. But if it gets cold, then I turn that on, and I don't know if anyone else gets this, but, like, if I start blowing hot air into the room, like, I get anxiously hot. Like, it's like a stuffiness that you get, which you don't get from what you're doing. And it's like, I start to get warmer, and then I'm like, oh, I feel just a bit yuck, and, like, I need to go and, like, get fresh air. Whereas I think what you're doing makes more sense, because it's like, yeah, and for me, it is predominantly my legs, my shins, and my ankles. And it's like, that's exactly what, you've got a woolen jumper, but there's not good options for, like, pants and warming your legs. So that's
totally. But also just from, like, a power consumption point of view, it makes the most sense, because all those electric heaters are, like, so such a big draw on power. I've recommended this blanket to so many
people. Well, though, because those things that have to, like, instant heat up, though, like, go watch your little spinny thing outside, turn your blanket on if it starts going mental.
An electric blanket is not much better. It's better. Yeah. It's not much better.
They're not great.
I think it's better. But I've recommended this blanket to so many people, and so many people have bought it and said that it has also changed their life. So it will change yours.
Can you please put a link in chat, because people really want to learn.
I can.
And also, Roll on the Floor Laugh Out Loud 360 said you're melting yourself like a candle, Steph.
Good. Nothing from Angus?
Peter Burns.
There'll be 2 Stephs by the end of the segment.
Yeah, there will be. Imagine that getting Bill after next winter. Pete, game of life me.
I will game of life you. And so, okay.
Man's got a prop. Everyone brought a prop.
I have a prop. I want to preface this by saying I don't know that this is a life changer yet, but this is a purchase that I made,
by the way. So
very recently.
Peter, if
that's not true.
Better improve on whatever you've done in the past.
People feel much better after their shots of vinegar. You know those
because it's done. It's over.
You have a thought, and you're like, does this thing exist? And this all started because, like, I've been doing a bit of, like, weight stuff in my room, and I was like, I want to do some cardio stuff, but I don't want to, like, do more than walking. I was like, I miss skip rope. Like, jumping rope is a good way to just, like, move, and it's a fun thing to do, but I don't want to leave my room. I was like, they need a skipping rope that doesn't have a rope, and it exists.
Wow.
What?
So these handles...
Oh my God.
It's a Wii.
It's a Wii. It's got a spinning disc at the top. You can put a rope in here, but you can put, these are just weights, basically, just so that there's a feeling of a rope being attached. Resistance, yeah. And then you can you skip, and it get, like, you know, it's got digital bullshit that you don't need. It's like, you've been going for this long and you've done this many jumps. But I'll show you.
Do it.
A Porn Court Bishop says that's just fucking jumping, you fool.
But you're not doing the jumping, Pete. That's the
jumping here. I've got what the fuck?
He's got cameras
I
and
understand
lights
you got to
jump.
No, okay, but you can tell me when you do it. Do you jump?
Sorry?
When you do it properly, do you jump on the spot?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you think he's doing, Gus?
I don't know. Literally that. That's all he was doing before. I wouldn't put it past the guy to just be like, time for a workout.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Go back to your candles, buddy. Yes, of course you jump. Otherwise, what's the fucking point?
Can I ask? Yes. Do they stay? Do they stay in time like a normal rope would? Like, in terms of, like, are they both on the downswing at the same time?
It's not hard to get them in sync. Yeah, it's like they are built the same, so it's just your wrist action that moves them.
Yeah, cool.
And then it's just, the only reason this is here really is to make sure that this thing spins. So these ropes should be at roughly the same length so that they spin at the same speed. Then it's pretty easy.
That is the definition of does this thing exist?
I know. Totally.
I was like,
Pete, can you do these crisscross?
You can. I did try it, and it's like you totally can do it without hitting yourself.
You know what though? I did. There was like a series of workout videos that I used to do at home that I really enjoyed, and one of the kind of cardio portions was just like skipping with no skipping rope. And I remember being like, "Oh yeah, you totally can just jump and not have anything in your hands," but it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same. It feels
Totally.
weird. Like you need to be holding something. And even if there isn't a rope attached, I get that you need the like the feeling of knowing you've got something that is propelling that motion in a weird way. And at least the fact that it's counting as well is cool.
Sour squirms on your side.
Yeah. Good. Literally bought a pair this week and they're so much fun. I haven't actually used them properly yet. I just set them up. But they're sick.
They're cool.
I just love the idea that
they do get
it
to play
exists.
well into the game of when you go into someone's house and you're like, sex toy or workout equipment? Because you're not quite sure what they're a little weird. And then they're in your office with your computer. It's like, what the fuck do those do, Pete?
I will say that like my game of life advice isn't get yourself a ropeless skipping rope because I can't vouch for it just yet. But I can vouch for if you have an idea that something should exist, it already does, and it's $20 on Amazon, so go get it.
And if it's not on Amazon, it's on Wish, and it's
Wish.
and it's $1.50.
But even if it was a sex toy that's like self-flagellation, you could count how many times you've done it. You'd be like, today, 28.
It's no surprise that's where your mind goes, Angus.
Yeah.
I love seeing it. It's all I see, Pete.
How funny. All right, rounding out the game of life. So mine is the most normal thing tonight, and that is a documentary that I watched and I really enjoyed. And it is on Netflix, and it is called, it's actually got a longer name, so I will make sure I got it right. It's called Black Holes, The Edge of All We Know. And so this is a documentary on Netflix that follows... It's basically, there's two different storylines. The first one is about a group of scientists who want to take a picture of a black hole. And this is something that happened quite recently, and you may remember seeing this picture in the papers, but this goes back a few years and like when they started to do it. And basically the problem with taking a picture of a black hole is that they are so far away, and there is a graphic in about 20 minutes into this film that shows you how far away this black hole is from Earth that we're trying to take a picture of, and it will blow your mind. It is the simplest graphic you could possibly imagine, and it is just terrifying at the scale of how big space is. But in order to take a picture of Earth, of this black hole, you need a telescope the size of Earth. Now, obviously, that doesn't exist. So what these guys do is take 6 telescopes scattered all over the planet, and they all take pictures at exactly the same time, at exactly the same like precision angles and everything. And then they use a supercomputer to put that together into a picture. And this documentary, half of it is about these guys led by this dude, coordinating that effort and just how monstrously difficult it is to do something like that.
But I don't understand. I don't understand how 5 telescopes taking a picture at the same time equates the same amount of what is needed from a telescope that is the size of Earth.
Yeah, so it's
You
not.
said there was like AI learning or AI kind of like filling in the blanks.
It's about.
So is it like extrapolating data and projecting an idea of what it would look like, and it's not actually a photo?
It's partly doing that, and it's about the fact that it's kind of taking a rounder picture of this thing. And then they are looking at the different points of this black hole to make sure that what they're looking at is the right thing, because no one's ever looked at one before as well. And it goes heavily into this in the doco, which is
a guy at NASA going content aware, just the middle of the photo, going
and so
done.
And so that's really interesting. But the second part, or the second story that runs in it, which I actually think is more interesting, is about these 2 scientists that are trying to figure out basically some theories around energy and black holes, and they're doing this with Stephen Hawking. And it is this it's these 2 guys, this one girl, and she's like in her mid-20s or something, and Stephen Hawking.
Hate brilliant people.
I know. So
how dare they be that young as well?
And they are just and the reason that, so the documentary doesn't talk down, it doesn't like hold your hand when it comes to explaining a lot of the science stuff, so you really have to pay attention. But the other thing that I loved about it is that it is just a completely beautiful look at wonderful, beautiful human beings who are fiercely intelligent, are completely dedicated to one thing, and in an era where like facts are so debated, it is this phenomenal look at just the power of intelligence and rational thinking, and just these people who are so sweet. They are all so sweet and nerdy and brilliant and genius, and they're just so passionate about this one thing and proving
it's almost like
whether or not
the
that
way
thing is true. It's almost like family.
But it's always the way they're focusing on that, and like in doing so, obviously they're affected by it, but kind of blocking out the rest of the shit that the world is dealing with, and being like, this is what we're focusing on. And that's like such a lovely mantra to take, or to take from a docker like that, which is like, focus on these things which can lead to more positive outcomes in the future for the human race, and just like don't get caught up in petty squabbles of what the rest of the world is currently getting caught up in.
They've been trying to do this for 30 years. And so you come in right at the tail end and watch it. And then and as Darius259AU in the chat says, it was Stephen Hawking's last paper that he co-published after he died. Like, he died and they published the paper that he was working on with this group. So you get to see them all working together, and like seeing how Stephen Hawking works in this scenario, totally fascinating as well. So yeah, Black Hole's the Edge of All We Know is really good. And then I also wanted to flip.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix.
Sorry. Yeah, cool.
And then I also wanted to flip and say, I need game of life advice or life advice, because, and I put this out on Instagram just before we went live, I am seriously considering, and I got this urge last night and I don't know where it came from, to dye my hair blonde.
No.
And so I am seriously considering, like, Ryan Gosling, the
Place Beyond the Pines?
Place Beyond the Pines. Like,
you should totally do it.
Blonde hair.
You should totally. No, but listen, like, anytime I do anything to my hair, because it's so long, it's like, it's a really like difficult choice and process to go through because to change it back or whatever and keep the length is really difficult and expensive, and a lot of the time it just ends up breaking. For men who have short hair, you have so much more free reign to experiment, and if you hate it, then like just dye it back or just cut it off, and back to normal in a month or so.
That's exactly what I said to Beck, which was, I was like, I'm thinking about dyeing my hair blonde, and she was like, oh, okay. And then we were talking about it, and I was like, well, she was like, would you get a haircut and get it done? And I was like, no, I'll get it done professionally, but I won't get a haircut, because then if I like it, like, I could keep it, but then if I don't like it, I could just cut it, and like you said, in a month I'll basically just have like frosted tips, and it's 90s shit is back anyway, so like, yeah, I'll be
so do you
that's what I was going to say. Do
you specifically want to go bleach like platinum blonde, like all one color?
There's no other way when you're a brunette. Like, it doesn't turn like to do it the way you do. No, hang on. No, but like, no, Steph, I know where you're going to go with this, but with like the same kind of face, like Nick, same facial hair and like eyebrows as you have, like you can't marry that together without having a stark contrast between like the brown, like heaviness of what's going on here with like blonde hair above. It will not look like normal unless you get like your face waxed and your eyebrows trimmed.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of eyebrows. I think regardless of whether you bleach it like the whole thing or you do like a foil or something like that, it's going to look like you've dyed your hair. But that's fine. But there are different ways that you can have that. My advice would just be to like go on the internet and find like a bunch of pictures of men with your length of hair that have the color that you like.
Yep.
Don't just go into a hairdresser and say, make me blonde.
And dark eyebrows.
Totally, yeah.
Because
yeah.
there is like a range of like 500 things that could be, and you want to be more specific.
You were going to look like Robert Pattinson in that film he did where he dyed his hair blonde. Look it up.
You got it.
That'll scare you.
You got to send me the photos of the ones that look good, because all of the references in my head, when you go like Ryan Gosling in Place Beyond the Pines, it's like, yeah, he's designed to look like an idiot criminal.
No, but you know,
that's that character.
Yeah.
I quite like that look when you have the top of it blonde, but you've got the sides shaved, and that's still dark.
The only person
it's like
totally
it's a look.
This. Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
It's
like Robert Pattinson in Good
like,
Time.
You see the stuff he wears. Of course, he's going to be able to pull it off.
Like
he will.
He
can pull off anything.
I wear tons of like baggy like sportswear shit, and I have tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, I will pull off bleach blonde hair. It's okay. And if I don't, then I will fucking cut my hair.
Right. I think, and I apologize. I probably should say for my initial reaction.
It's because you had a bad experience, Gus. You had a bad experience. You've been burned.
And it was me projecting on Nick what if I would ever do it, which is no. And so I was like, no. I would use you as the test dummy of it, and I think you could definitely actually pull it off more than I could. There you go.
So I'm considering it. So
that's what I would.
You're gonna look exactly like that.
Good. So I'm still working my way through this thought. I was thinking it last night, and I was like, oh, I really fucking want to do that because it is like a wild swing.
Then
if it doesn't work, then I'll just I either am not going to cut my hair for another year, or I need a haircut tomorrow, and both of those things are totally true.
You probably need to cut it a little bit, just because when you bleach hair, it fucks it. So you'll probably need to cut it a bit anyway.
And also, just do it, because who cares? It's like it's either going to work or it doesn't, and who gives a shit if it doesn't?
Totally.
Yeah.
The only thing is that I need to figure out how to warn the kids, because Beck's mum will come and stay with us, and she has glasses, and she's got sort of thicker frames, frames, and then she'll be standing there, and she'll take her glasses off to clean them, and Elkie will look at her and go and cry. She's like, "Who the fuck just walked in here?"
I love the idea that it's more to do with the fact that your mother-in-law comes in and you're this peroxided Robert Pattinson-looking fucker in a red sex room going, "You'll be sleeping in here tonight." It's just what is all of this?
Lockdown affects people in different ways.
It totally does. No, you should totally do it.
I do like the idea of people saying that we could raise money for charity to do it. We could do it as a stream. I could dye it on stream myself go fix it with someone.
No one would be stupid enough to change their hairstylings live on stream for charity.
Yeah, that's right. But at the very least, could raise some money to do it, and then go get it done, and then reveal it on stream and donate that money.
Sounds good.
Which would be nice.
Yeah. I love that your second tip is a little more just something sporadic that you're going to do for yourself. The first tip that you gave was this really deep, meaningful kind of hey, here's this thing you should absorb that will change your outlook on humanity. And in the middle of describing that really deep, meaningful thing, Lord Phoenix is like, electric blanket purchased.
Yeah.
Was on another level. Took the right tips where they were given.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That is the game of life. Pete, play us out.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I was queuing up the end card as you play us out, and it's like, what? He wants to leave already?
I realized you had that, and then I think it's funny because you were the one who was like, that's the only sting we have that's it needs to be played twice.
It totally does. It feels like the start of something and the end of something at the same time.
It totally does.
It does.
Thank you very much. Speaking of the end of things, thank you very much to everyone who has stuck around and watched tonight's show. A real pleasure to have you all here for another lockdown special, and a very enjoyable show again. I mean, it's just us talking, and that's what that's my idea of a good time. We have much more content now. Pete, you did mention potentially that you will be streaming again tomorrow. Is that something that you'll be doing?
Game Club, yep. Still to lock in a time, but it'll probably be evening again because I think Steph's going to be streaming on her channel during the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a chill raft stream, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. So then there'll be a Game Club stream tomorrow evening, and Game Club, of course, is brought to you by the other exclamation mark Tim in the chat, and so make sure Creator of Worlds and Avatars, A Timothy. So thank you very much, A Timothy, for sponsoring the Game Club streams. We'll be back also tomorrow. You'll be able to check out the Loki Pocket Watch as well, which we will be recording in the morning. And then on Monday, we've got the Back podcast. We'll have more streams next week as well. And then obviously we'll be back again next Thursday night for another lockdown special of Back Pocket.
Hopefully by then, and you love me making promises that I try to keep, but I've been working through a backlog of POC arts as well. The ones that we did both in a batch stream and then also that we did a couple on the episode as well. I've been tinkering, getting them all colored, filled in, done, perfected, all that kind of stuff. So fingers crossed by next Thursday, I'll have all of them and maybe we can debut them all on the stream as well. I've got 4 of them done. I think I've got 4 more to go. If I can find some time in between everything else I'm working on, I'll get them all done as well. They're looking great. Just
Yeah,
to
cool.
let you know. But that is the promise there. I've had a few people reach out to me and be like, are these still coming? We might even do a POC art stream next week.
Potentially. It seems like a good
I think it could be a fun thing to do. And if I can get through the backlog, then I can start another backlog. Oh my God, it keeps going.
You got to make
We
that
could
table.
maybe even wrangle a POC art on one of these home streams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He said that.
No, not a separate one. Like in the main show next week.
I thought that's what
I was saying.
That's what he was saying.
Oh, right. I wasn't listening.
Nick and I are on a peroxided wavelength over here.
And I genuinely mean this. If we're in another lockdown after that, I really think we should co-make this table on stream. We could each do a leg. And
Wait, we all do a leg and we haven't got a tabletop. We're like, we all have 4 fucking legs.
Yeah.
We're like, Will, where's the tabletop? Where is Will?
That's a good question. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching and hanging out. A reminder to go follow Backpocket Vids on all the social channels that he's gone. All the social channels that you subscribe to: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That is where you'll be able to see content. And also, coming up, it's not necessarily new content, but you will be able to digest some of our content in shorter, more digestible, consumable social media ways coming up shortly. So that's going to start rolling out pretty soon. If you want everything else related to Backpocket, then head to backpocket.gg. I wonder if he's watching the stream with his parents and we'll just see him burst into the room. Head to backpocket.gg where you can subscribe to our Patreon, follow the podcast, buy the merch, all that sort of stuff. Gus, we need another merch drop. God damn
let's
it.
do it.
You give me, I want an extra large you shitting yourself t-shirt while I have bleach blonde hair.
I want a Pete's party time thing.
That's what I want.
I want to don't gonna just do something.
I want. All right, we'll see what we can do.
So you can head to Backpocket.gg and there are links to everything there. Thank you very much to all the mods who help make the Discord a beautiful place to be, to help make Twitch chat be a beautiful place to be. And just generally the Backpocket community being a beautiful place that it is. Thank you very much to everyone there. A massive thank you to all our patrons and, of course, our top stitchers: Reese, Oranishi, Tim, Mason, not Nathan, Slowpunk, LokiCat, Raj, Akrash, Cameo, Avexia, Nicrotex, Boxy, The Coastal City, Max Jazz Games, Vegabus, and A. Timothy. You all have segments in this. Well, no, you don't. Some of you have segments in this show. You all have commercials coming to you, or you've already got them. We love you all and thank you for your support. Speaking of the top stitchers, stick around for the post show presented by Raj, and that's it.
Praise our Lord and Savior, Keanu Reeves, the Minotaur.
The Minotaur. Thank you very much. And with that, massive thank you to the three of you for another very enjoyable evening. And we are going to back it out.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you. Should we back it out?
I love how formal
Back
this
it out.
is.
Let's do it.
Back it out. Will, start us off.
Yeah.